GP loves Great Britain. So much so, on August the 5th, 2022, we're coming home for some British hijinks and all-out nitro buggy racing action.
Good morning, and welcome to Finals Day here in Barcelos for the 1/8 Off-Road European Championships, brought to you by EFRA. We are RC Racing TV and Control in association with InvisibleSpeed.net, S-Works and RCGP. We have, to my right, James Parry on the camera, Zach Fenning, and it's me, Nick Damon, on the voicey bits. The noise you can hear in the background, that is our 1 30-second A file about to go out. And you can see on the screen, by magic, your competitors. Finals day gets underway bright and early, continues for a very long time. Currently, the main final is scheduled to go off at 5 o'clock local time, which is 6 o'clock in the mainland of Europe. So we have Hal Lopez in 1, Mathieu Benetton in 2, Ali Heinen in 3, James Lepervaux in 4, Pierre Rehoulon in 5, Mitchell Booth in 6th, Alejandro Duras in 7, Jürgen Trieb in 8, Ilari Lalanjoja, I've got it wrong again, sorry, from Finland in 9, Ika Tellez in 10, Nicola Johannes in 11, and Tommy Sannen in 12. The guys in 9, 10, 11 and 12 bumped up from last night's last final, the final, no, well, actually it's the penultimate final, but it was, anyway, they bumped up from last night. As I say, long day of racing. It's going to be great fun. We've got, we run through the 30 seconds, A and B, run through the 16th A and B, the 8th A and B, and the quarters A and B. Then we have the semi-practice, which we won't show, and then we start, in time for the semi-finals, our very, very super new final show. So it's going to be a really different and exciting. You won't be seeing a minute of the action, but the around it, rather than the tedious waiting, we'll be back in 10 minutes. It's a fully functional show, which will keep you hopefully entertained, and also we hope we'll enable people who are new to the sport or adjacent to the sport to understand better what we do and get the excitement that we get as we wait for the main final to go, which, as I say, at the moment is going off at 5 p.m. Local time. So, cars are all in. Top 4 will bump up. I think you all know the procedure now. Hello to Christian Mattis. Semi-finals, I think, are 1:30. I think the semi-finals start. We've also got a junior final and a senior final. Senior being over 40, which sounds very young to me. That's better than it used to be. It used to be over 35. It's ridiculous.
God, that makes me a senior now.
I know.
Oh.
But you better start racing so you can join in. The world-weary words there of James Parry. And they're away for the 1:30-second A final. It's actually very good, clean stuff. Had mostly clean starts. The way this track kind of works does seem to allow the clean start. And as I grumble around the first part, I'm absolutely battling it. The sun's right in my eyes for these first couple of heats, so my level of, I have to wear sunglasses, which means otherwise I'm blinded, which means my vision of the screen is significantly duller than it would be. The tribulations of a commentator internationally. Okay, so over the line we go, and it is indeed Hal Lopez who leads from Matthew Benetton, Ali Heinen third, Pavot. In fact, they've gone through almost exactly in race order. Mitchell Booth, the only loser really, losing 2 places from 6th to 8th. So top 4 bump, and as you can see, you've got 3 cars together. Finals, yes, they were all quite disparate and spread out and tended to have a lot of problems. I think it tends to happen to people on the third place man, that's Heinen's fallen over. Oh, great run there. So I think Benetton has now taken Lopez up the top of the circuit. And it is the 2 from the 1. So 20 minutes should see 2 fuel stops. That tends to be the way. There are rumours people can do 10 minutes. I've not seen anyone do 10 minutes, so my guess is they will just take it easy and make it the safe way and just stop. Quite wide windows, really, from between 6 and 8 minutes, and then again from sort of like 13 to 15. It does make it a little bit confusing. Someone goes in very early and someone goes in very late. But that's what we're here to do, is to work out what the stagger is. So Benetton in the Flory yellow car leads from the orange of Lopez. So up and over onto the roller section at the back of the circuit. And they keep on saying up this is our second camera. You don't have, it's so much higher. That drop down to the far right, which is the bottom of the circuit, I reckon it's at least 10 metres. It's a huge rise and fall on this track. Through the switch, very wide there on the switchback for Lopez, completely overshot that corner, and as you can see, lost himself the best part of a second. Drop back another one to Rabillon. There we go. That's a battle for 3rd and 4th. We'll get more interesting. No, you were with it. No, drop back, Zach. No. Oh, upside down. And over the line. Look what happened there. No, just I've seen that a couple of times where people kind of fall off that corner. It's like a weird situation where they don't just lurch. It's no real reason. You look at it, you kind of think, I can't see what went wrong there. I mean, sometimes you can often see exactly what went wrong. And that was Rabouin who actually lost the car down the hill, and that's put him down to 6th and out of the bump ups. Pretty sure we're with Alejandro Duras now. I have to confirm that in a second when he drives past me. Yep, that is the 7 of Duras. It's quite hard to pick out colours at the moment because the sun's in our eyes. I might know about 3 or 4 more times. Eventually, over the course of the morning, the sun rises up above the window of our commentary box. And clipping the 2 sides. So Darius got Lopez. Lopez made a mistake in the last one. 39-second run for Lopez in the last lap. So he made a mistake, which has put Dallas into 2nd. Lopez into 3rd. You can see him just behind on the back of the rollers, dropping down the highest point of the circuit now into the S. And they'll turn right in front of commentary corner. That's us in that booth there. Straight to the plunge down the hill. And this exciting single that you think they're going to fly that thing for miles, but they've only seen one person do it so far. The landing of that first jump just after the main straight, it's just not quite right to do a double or a triple without too much risk. So everyone kind of runs up, whoa, and then just breaks on until he's over it like a beginner. But it's the way to do it. When Ongaro and Canas and the gang are all doing that, that's the way to do it. So with Daras, who's now making a bit of a lead. Can you drop back 2 to Le Pavot, who should be purplish? There he goes. I think, he was getting fuel. I think I was some fuel already actually in 5 minutes. Oh. So there's 3 cars. Now I'm not overly sure if those are 3 cars I'm looking for, because someone went for fuel, which ruined it. Because I'm counting off the timing screen, and then of course they dive into the fuel. They actually do get timed. The timing bars run across the fuel entry. So when you go for fuel, you can't tell from the screen they've gone in for fuel. There's a lot of action down there. So when these 2 cars come past me, I'll be able to give you a proper identification. I'll be able to tell you who they are. It's the white car. I think Rabulon is the white car, I'm pretty sure. So it is the 5 and the... Oh, what do you do there? Absolutely killed the 5 car of Pierre Raboulon. That was really straight off the side. Couldn't quite see who the perpetrator was. I don't know whether the referee will call that, because I think it was more a case of a misunderstanding. It just had a big result. Mitchell Booth currently scored in 4th. Maybe Mitchell Booth. So I'm struggling. Everything's very black and white to me at the moment. So the car we're with, as he comes past us now, is the 8 machine. So that actually, we were looking at Jürgen Trieb there. He comes in for fuel. In the bottom corner, getting a bit of fuel. Can I point out? I've been criticised for having my camera on the slide, but actually it has gone on the slide. I'll adjust that. It wasn't quite that bad. It's gone a little more on the edge, but it was actually the fact that isn't straight. So this isn't straight to the track at all. The track carries on dropping down. So pit position 1 is say 2 meters off the race base of the track. Pit position 15 or the other way around is 3 meters. So it has got an angle. That has gone slightly on the angle. I've hidden the camera very carefully right behind a pole and hope it doesn't get hit. So. But if you're happy to have Batman villain style pit shots, as the green machine goes in and out again. So that's the first set of stops sort of finished. It's Bennett in the lead. Bennett hasn't gone in so far yet. We've got Duras, Booth, Lopez, the pivot. So it's currently Slovakia, Spain, Britain, Portugal, Finland, Spain, Austria. So it's a good mix of Europeans here.
Sorry to do techie things whilst we're live, but I'm just trying to set up this pit shot for everyone. So excuse me if I randomly put pits on the screen.
Okay. Oh, blimey, just blasted past on that one. Oh, right, I say. That is randomly.
It's because it was in the way of the actual pits shot from our cameraman.
Ah.
So I'm now moving it.
Look at that, everybody. This is creation at work.
There we go.
Marvellous, thank you.
Right, sorry for the messing.
He's happy now. So with the car we're looking at now, it's back of these 3 machines. So it is the 8, I think, or maybe so many. Actually, what's brilliant here is that these cars have absolutely clumped together. So if I can look now, one car, massive accident. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 8 cars effectively all very close together of the 12, but we're all still running, which is good. We haven't had that so far this finals run. So the bright orange machine leading a train of cars. And that is our number 1. So that's actually Lopez. That's Hal Lopez in 4th. Leading the way. Well, not leading the way, he's in 4th. He's leading this group, which behind him has Ali Heinen and Ika Tellez. I'm not overly sure if they're still the same order they were when they came past me. In fact, they're not, because the orange car's not there anymore. So you look away to try and work out who's doing what, and then the positions change again. But it's good news at the moment for Mathieu Benettin. He's got a lead of 11 seconds. Alejandro Duras is 6 seconds over Mitchell Booth, who's just ahead of the Heinen Tellez Lopez battle. This is probably Booth at the front of this. Yes, it's Booth at the front of this, and then Heinen behind him. And they hop on and round. Oh, and it's a tear. That's a bit of a chaotic moment around the almost 180. And that's given a bit of a gap for the light blue and white car of Tellez. So over the infield, whoops in front onto the switchback. Oh, is he going to get away with it? Yes. Well, that was a great one, that was. down the straight. Tellez, Booth, Heinen, so they're quite close together. And the important thing is two of these are bumping up, one of them isn't. Currently Tellez and Booth are and Heinen isn't. All three in frame at the moment. You've got Tellez in the blue, Heinen in the... Well, I think it's Booth who's got the yellow wheels, which might be the easiest way to identify them, even though they are... there's a patch of red. So Booth now, it's gone across in fourth and Heinen fifth. They just spread slightly there. So just Booth and Tellez at the moment, who are both bumping. They're third and fourth. Blue car, it's Tellez. It's a junior from Spain, Ika Tellez. And you've got Mitchell Booth, who's not a junior, from the UK. And ahead of them, Matthew Benettin's got a huge lead. Really, lead. He's gaining sort of second and a half a lap overall. That's the top of the track and the far left. Well, as actually is the far left as the drivers look at it as well. Benettin, Darius, Tellez, Booth. Heinen is 2 seconds off bumping. Drop back one. And that is Mitchell Booth in that final bump up place. Through the switchback. Heinen is 2 seconds behind. Just in the background there. Just a very edge of shot. There you go. There he is again. So he knows what he's got to do. We have 7 minutes to go, so there's still another pit stop, so plenty can happen. This is your fourth place man, Mitchell Booth. Benettin's lead dropped by 4. Yeah, Benettin made a mistake that last lap. His lead dropped by 4, unless he took fuel, because I don't think he can take fuel in 5 seconds. It's quite a long, bumpy pit lane. So... lost a few seconds of lead. Benettin with an accident. Doesn't matter because he's still at 13 in the lead. And Booth now looks like he's being absolutely reeled in by Heinen. So this is your bump up place there. Booth and Heinen turn left now, drop down through the S's and come past Comedy Corner. Now it's getting close to fuel time. And it is fuel time for Heinen, but it's not for Booth. Yeah, Heinen did 34. That's why he's caught up. He's released away again, as you saw there in the shot below. So Booth will probably come in this time. So will we see an F1 style undercut by Ari Heinen? The Pivot is waiting for someone to make a mistake. He's a long way back. He's 16 back. No, Booth's got a bit more fuel mileage. You can get a couple more laps out. I mean, it's not really the case where anyone's really running to what the most they can do. Jürgen Trieb dropped out, which is unlucky for him. So Heinen that time round was 43. So you're looking at a pit stop of around 8. Pit stops take about 8 seconds. Oh, Mitch, we didn't want to do that. Not when you're up in a race. So it's now for the T Pro Racing replay. And what you can see there is, we've seen a lot of this. You just go a little bit short on that jump. And that jump is incredibly flattened by the camera. It's a very sharp takeoff on that jump. And then you kind of come down your land. So Mitchell Booth comes in now, but that mistake probably means it's not much point him, not much chance of him not coming out behind Heinen. Yeah, he was already a long way back, so Booth's challenge is gone. However, Tellez is back in the mix again. So we'll take Mitchell around this one, but just want to try. I think we're going to need to move forward on the cars in a second. I think Mitchell's going to be rescored probably in 5th, possibly in 6th. I'm not sure.
How many bump up in this one, Nick?
4 bump ups.
All the way up now to the finals. 4.
Yeah, 4. No, the semi-finals are different.
Ah, okay.
Actually, do need to talk to Carlos about what the semi-finals are. It changes every time. Right, so Booth actually is in 5th, and he is 6 seconds back from Heinen, so he's in a bit of trouble. That accident is the difference between the two of them. Now, the Pavot is supposed to be a second behind him. I can't see him, so that's weird. No, so the Pavot's had a problem at some point. Or perhaps he's actually in pits. He must be in the pits as well. So, I'm sure Booth has got the ground speed to catch up on Heinen and Duras, who are quite close. Actually, 2nd, 3rd and 4th now. Should be running together. Can you move forward one? Those three cars together, that's them, I think. Should be the 2nd, 3rd and 4th battle. But in there's an interloper. One of the cars in there, was it Sesame? One of these things is not quite the same. I think it's Sesame Street, wasn't it? One of those cars is an interloper. I think it may be the car leading out. And the other 3 are your 2nd, 3rd and 4th. The 4th has made a mistake. Which we tell us Duras and Heinen. So they come past, and it's the 0 car, then it's the 7, then it's the 3, then it's the 11. Yeah, so it's the 0, 7 and 3 who I'm looking for. The 11 is not it, so it was the back at the back of Lamberts who was interloping. So the front of those 3 cars is Tellez leading. Well, leading in 2nd, leading this pack. And you got 3rd and 4th right behind him. So you go up through the not 180. Oh, he's rolled. Synchronised rolling. I don't think it's dance routine, loves. What happened there? T-Pro replay tells you that what actually happened was Nazi's subsidiary bounce, and then I think what happened there was that the 4th place man, who would have been Heinen then, sort of saw the accident in front of him, sort of overreacted with a little bit of a tug on the steering to think I'm better to avoid this person, and that obviously upset the buggy and it fell over. So very much a case of falling off in the scene of someone else's accident. But that has meant that Heinen now has 3rd place. More to himself. Tellez, the big winner of that was Mitchell Booth, who managed to move a bit close to both of them. So back now with Heinen and Tellez. Tellez, I think, has already gained a large amount of space. Is that the 0 Tellez in the blue car? Yep, so it is Tellez in the blue car and the 0. I'm sorry, very washed out cars in front of the moment. Oh, and through he goes again. So Heinen really isn't fighting Tellez at any point. So Heinen playing the long game. I just need to bump up. Not getting involved in other people's accidents. Pierre Remoulin about to get lapped in the all-white car. Not the one-can car. Oh, dear, oh dear, oh dear. So Rabillon, the T-Pro repo show happened here. Rabillon didn't quite get the drive, rolled, moved forward, got back going again, got rammed at the back by Tellez. So Tellez, the big loser there. Oh dear. Now, I'm not sure if Mitchell Booth got past him in that point. And the answer is yes. Tellez now, who is quite quick, and that was bad luck, it wasn't bad driving, he's chasing that car just ahead of him for 4th place, a minute and 25 to go. So the bump up here is very, very close. Heinen v Tellez. Sorry, Booth v Tellez, with Heinen now 6 seconds safer. Got Rabulon in the middle again, so he's going to want to get out of the way. Oh, and Booth makes a mistake. And that just hands the whole thing right back to the man on the camera. Tellez. So Tellez back in there again, the Spaniard. He's got about a couple of seconds. You see the car behind, the yellow wheel car behind is the car that shows Mitchell Booth. So Booth for about the merest of seconds was ahead. And now he's 2 back again. So Tellez is going to join Matthew Benetin, Ali Heinen and Alejandro Duras. See, Heinen's got past Duras. That's impressive. So Duras must have had quite a big problem at some point. But Duras is still a couple of seconds ahead of Tellez, who's on the screen at the moment. Hopping around the top corner. Now, the thing to remember about this is that this is Tellez's last lap. So he just has to keep this on the island, not fall over. And he'll be fine. Oof. Look at that. Booth's got right up to him. Booth pushing, so Mitchell's really going for it. He's gone for it too much. He rolled over at just the extreme end of the camera, but he was pushing. Because there's no point. It's S or B, isn't it, at this point? Or your European Championship is over. But for Iker Tellez, it's not. Tellez crosses the 2 green stripes, the 2 loops, and he qualifies. The bump-ups at the end of this one are Mathieu Benetin, Ali Heinen, Alejandro Duras, Iker Tellez bumps up. Unlucky for Mitchell Booth, who just missed out. Hal Lopez was 6th. James Lebeau was 7th. Ilari was 8th. Pierre Rebellon was 9th. Johannes Nikolai Lamberts was 10th. And then Tommy Sand and Jürgen Trieb didn't get broke down at various points within the race. So Slovakia, Finland and 2 Spaniards advance to the 1/16th A, which will be on in about, I don't know, 35 minutes. It's all quite quick at this point. Bang, 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 bang.
That's not a huge amount of time to turn the car around, is it?
No. You've basically got to just go and you've got to get teched first, so you don't get it back straight away.
Oh, yeah.
So you get it teched, and they go, yeah, that's near enough all right. And then after you had it teched, you get it get it back, stick on it, field it up, clean it up, make sure nothing's obviously loose, tighten a few screws, and stick a new set of boots on it normally. That's all the time you've got. We have all the time in the... Well, you don't have all the time in the world at all, actually. Very little time indeed.
Excuse me.
The morning races. Hello, Longwen RC. Hello to Noah Ben Mohammed. Hello to Christian Matthias. Ghost in a jar. Worrying. Hello, Kevin Brunson. Hey, Kevin, how you doing? See you in a couple of weeks at RCGP in Nemo. Hello to Essa Myanmar. Unsurprisingly, unsurprisingly, he is more. He's supporting the Finnish team, who are doing obviously quite well. Thank you, those of you who joined us so early in the morning. I promise you, it'll be worth your while. Can't promise that at all. So plenty of revving in the background as we wait to see who is taking part in this next race. Exciting, isn't it? Who knows? Could be anybody, or could be nobody. Okay.
I will just need to pop for a natural break once this race starts.
Oh, I know. It's exciting. So in car 1, it will be Lewis Jones from the UK. Then you got Hugo Ibanez from Spain in 2. It's Patrick Bremstaller in 3. Nuno Rebel is in 4 from Portugal. Spaniard Zachariah Villarreal is in 5. Michael Lewis is in. Lewis Jones and Michael Lewis have been in the same heat the whole time. Michael Lewis from Britain is in 6. Julius Ciclodi, from Austria is in 7. We spoke to him yesterday on the grid board. You'll see later on the final show. He's a young man from Austria in 7. Jorge Solar in 8. John Hazelwood, who's not a young man but knows what he's doing, in 9. He bumped up last night from Britain. Pablo Menez from Spain bumped up. Soares from Portugal bumped up. And Joaquin Moreno also bumped up. So one of those weird things, you end up with 3 Brits in this one. We actually had the qualifying heat that had 6 Frenchmen in it. There's no rhyme nor reason to it. Obviously, you would expect to have large numbers of Portuguese and large numbers of Spanish because they're the biggest 2 teams. But some of the medium-sized teams all clumped in the same area. A little bit of a surprise. So still looking to get the marshals sorted out. As you can see, drivers on top. Far left is in the blue top. That is the announcer. various machines revving their little hearts out below.
Are they making sure they're staying exactly to time?
Yeah, I think they're just not getting excited and getting ahead of themselves, you know. Even though that's what we want them to do.
Well, there will be the inevitable technical timeout on the finals.
Yes, well, they say the final's starting at 5.
No.
Yeah. They've never managed to start one on time in the past, any final in the past, 12 years, so that isn't going to happen.
There'll be the announcements.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the Volderol, the final will start at 5. Absolutely.
Volderol?
Yeah, the singing, the dancing, the exciting...
That was a bathroom cleaner. Volderol.
Probably is as well, in some country. So again, as always, it is the top 4 who bump up from this one.
Speaking to Carlos this morning, we were talking about the weather here. He said it's going to be 45 degrees next week.
Well, very glad we didn't do it next week then. Last week was really quite nice here. It peaked out at about 27. This week it's peaking out at 35. So next week's 45, and the week after it's everyone dead.
Yes. Yeah, apparently it's coming from the Sahara.
Ah, I see.
The winds, southerly winds.
Those damn southerly winds. So on their 3-minute warm-up. Chance to get an idea of how the track has changed since their last on it. I mean, most of these people probably didn't run their last, well, apart from the bump-up guys who ran yesterday. Everyone else hasn't run since lunchtime yesterday. Hasn't run it probably since about 11 o'clock yesterday for these guys. So they're 21 hours or so without having run the track. Right, they're brought in, so we're going to get a little bit close to what's actually going on now. As they will be brought in, and they will then be walked out. Last car comes into the set. Good morning to Tommy Turku, and hello to PDMCC from Sunny Pendle. Hello from Tara. Tara evening, how are you doing? Good morning from Finland. Hope all the drivers will have a fast and great day. Thumbs up the finish, especially with Pecco. Pecco's gone straight into the semis. He should be very proud. Also, I interviewed him, so you'll see him on the grid walk as well, pit walk as well. Go Solar, says Eddie Solar. I wonder why that might be. Okay, they walked out. Cars will be down in a second. Can we look more towards the front of the grid for these starts, please, Zach? Thank you. And they're away. Clean start. We had a massive jump start yesterday, which was called, and he had to do a drive through, but it was just the most blatant jump start ever. The third, fourth, or third and fifth and seventh have had a bit of a kerfuffle. This one isn't going to go over in race number like the first one was. This is the 132B final, brought to you by InvisibleSpeed.net, S-Works and RCGP here at the European Championships 2022. I say it's the 1922 European Championships. Hello, everybody. All the Johnny Foreigners are doing very well. I've managed to get James to clutch his face, to his hand to his face. So it's gone off well for Lewis Jones. Then it's Hugo Ibanez Rebel, great start, Pablo Menendez. Great start for Pablo Menendez, who's got up from bump up position from 10th to 4th. Also, John Hazelwood. So obviously, there's been a kind of a middle of the field kerfuffle. Michael Lewis isn't affected by it, but then you've got Bemstar who's dropped down as well. So it's a lap in. There's plenty of time to sort it out, but obviously you don't really want to start with a problem like that. Down the hill goes Lewis Jones. Drop back to second and third, which is actually second, car 2 and car 4. That's Ibanez and Casa Ribeiro. First flying laps around the 36s. Fast laps really with 33, high 33s in qualifying. I'm not sure whether these cars will be set up to do that for a 20-minute run anyway. But we are obviously several heats off the very top drivers, but the second and third giving us a bit of a show there. Well, they were, and then it fell off and there's an accident to the side. So he settled down, looking good for Lewis Jones, man. Already clawed a 3-second lead. I think he's more than 3 seconds now, I think. Yeah, it's nearly 4. This is Ibanez in second. Hazelwood moved to third. So let's drop back again, one more. And you've got third, fourth, and fifth, which is Hazelwood, Lewis, Casper, maybe Menendez. In fact, there's so many of them there. There should be 5 cars, only 4, so someone's already dropped out. So John Hazelwood with the newer Garmin, that's the one that's got no shock towers. It's got lay down front shocks and front and rear. So, which apparently is, this car is going into production very soon. I'm pretty sure that is the Hazelwood car. It is. Behind him, it's not Lewis. It's not Michael Lewis anymore. But it's Casa Menendez who those cars behind him. Though he's pulling away a bit and spinning. I think that was Menendez who just went wide, which means that I think I'll put Michael Lewis back into fourth in the bump up. So Hazelwood making sun now with this new car in third, up from a good start. And it's the fourth and fifth battle with now white wheels and the yellow wheels. It's obviously the only key point of that is white wheels and yellow wheels. They turn down the hill. It's Casa Rebel from Michael Lewis. Yeah, I thought Menendez dropped out. So the white wheels are Nuno Casa Rebel. Michael Lewis on the yellow wheels. And there's many other differences in the colour. Obviously, there's a blue car and a what looks like a red and yellow car. Again, until the sun comes out of my eyes, I'm not totally sure what the colours on these cars are. But yeah. To the blue of Casanova, Lewis in the ready yellow car. But the key point is white wheels versus yellow wheels. Which are faster is the question. Just to remind you, Lewis Jones is a long way ahead at the front, 4.5 seconds up already. Hazelwood's put a little gap as well. And that's just come down. That doesn't like 2.5 seconds anymore there. So Hazelwood just reined it back in the edge. Made a couple of little bouncy mistakes there. So now it's Hazelwood now. Oof, Casa Rebel came flying towards him in the switchback. So Hazelwood irritating himself. He's blown a couple of seconds of lead there with a couple of minor errors. Still bumping up. But one of these 3 cars, the third car just creeping out shot to your right. They're all meant to go. One of them currently isn't bumping up, and that is Michael Lewis. So Hazelwood under intense pressure now from Nuno Casa Rebel. Portuguese, well, I would say local. He could be many hundreds of miles away from Barcelos. It's quite towards the north of Portugal, up the inside there. So an overrun from Hazelwood, and Nuno Casa Rebel gets through. So Hazelwood now, after a fine opening, just settled into a slightly less fine next couple of laps. So Lewis and Hazelwood now battling over 4th place. They haven't let Nuno Casa Rebel go. And it is, of course, one of those old adages, and it's an old adage because it's true. It's easier to lead than to follow. But in fairness, Nuno Casa Rebel is having no problems leading these guys, and he's beginning to gap them slightly. So looks like he's got more basic ground speed. Drop back to the other 2, and that is the Hazelwood Michael Lewis battle. So the GB boys going at it for the final bump up slot. Bremstyle is currently in 6th, but he's 4 seconds back, so he's quite a long way from joining this battle. Actually, mistake by Nuno Casa Rebel. They've now Constantine is back up again as they go over the rollers at the back of the track and drop down. They've got the S-bend, and then they'll come past me here at Coventry Corner 4, 9 and 6 quite together. Casa Rebel's obviously got the faster car over a clean lap, but it's the clean lap part that's key. Lewis, I thought Lewis was lining himself up for a move there. sort of breaking into that switchback, if the person ahead of you makes a small mistake, you can do it. But otherwise, there's no real line through. Lewis going right. That was very nearly an excellent cutback overtake, but just ran out of space. Lewis trying all the tricks to get past Hazelwood. They are gapping Menendez, though. I'm not sure anyone's actually done fuel yet. I don't think so. They might be thinking about it. We are 6 minutes in. You have had some very early first stops, almost as though people are just trying to get themselves into a bit of clear air. And you can see why Lewis want to do that. But you get the impression he's got a little bit, not much, a little bit of extra pace over Hazelwood. But again, that could be, a mistake again by Newcastle Rebel. Puts him right back in the clutches of Hazelwood. Hazelwood in attempt to go up the inside, picked a little bit of pipe, lost a bit of momentum. Lewis now stalking him. Not sure who the car ahead of them is. I don't think that's anyone is. This is why we're now getting into a fuel stop. Mistake. Oh, no. That's a terrible error from Michael Lewis. Dear, oh dear, getting stuck on that entry pipe. And because of that, there's no real marshal there. Then you're getting marshalled by Carlos Gomez, the section chairman. That's going to put him so far out. He was stuck there for a very long time. In fact, he didn't pass I'll tell you how long, he was stuck there for 8 seconds. So he lost 8 seconds on that 1 point, being stuck up on the pipe. He's not going to be involved much in the banner. Jones has dropped right down. So had a big lead. I'm just thinking, whether Ibanez and Casa Ribeiro, whether they're actually going for a bit of a limited amount of stops here. Jones was leading quite comfortably. He's made his fuel stop. The others haven't. But the amount he's not in the lead anymore from Ibanez makes me think there's also been a problem. He was leading. He's not. It's now Ibanez from Casa Rebel, who we've been watching. Jones, Hazelwood, Bremstar, with Lewis now, who's in 7th. So we're going to try and pick up and find the number 3 car, Bremstar. I think he may be going past me soon. 06. No, it's not. It's Lewis has moved back into 5th place again. So we're with the right car all along. Well, that's the way it goes, isn't it? So once they actually got through the craziness, Lewis actually now is only 0.6 second behind Menendez in the 0, and this is probably them there. Thanks, Zach. Sorry about that. The pit stops some of them were very late indeed. So not quite late enough to do 10 minutes. I don't quite understand, if you're going to do 2 stops, why stop as late as 8 minutes something? Someone can explain to me why that's advised. What happened there? One of the cars went straight on. That's a failure. And that's a failure for Michael Lewis's car. And it's missing, its wheels collapsed. So Lewis, I'm afraid, is out. His team associate just went, I think he's got a runaway actually. Engine's just running and then just hit the fence. And that's out. So Michael's car has gone. The section chairman, Carlos Gomez, brings in the vehicle, but that's going nowhere for 2 reasons. One, because it's got a throttle issue, I think. It just carried on, and then it hit the wall and broke the suspension. Okay, so what we need to do now is just pick up, see if we can find... we'll be this car and see who it is. So with the blue and white car, up towards the top of the track. This is the 4 machine of Newcastle Rebel. He's also having a bit of a disaster the last couple of laps, so he's not in the bump up anymore. It's Ibanez, Jones, Hazelwood, Menendez, Solar. Nothing particularly close at the moment, so we had a good old scrap in the first half of the race. Second half of the race looking more processional, but things will change. And the reason they will change is... Did I have a Coke? Where is it? Oh no, I'm not... James was to carry on commentating. He just opened a Coke, and I don't know where my Coke's gone.
It was put under my side of the desk, so I guess it's mine. Zach should have got you one. He also owes me the change. We'll sort it out later. There it is.
There it is. It's on the floor. Honestly, Zach. It's very hot and thirsty work doing this, you know.
The sun is beaming through the window. Yeah. It's nearly gone.
Yes, I mean, admittedly, we have got a bit of aircon and everything else. And poor old Zach's out in the wilds of the heat, but he's young. That's why I put him there.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He's the only person in the team that doesn't qualify for the over 30s. Let's look at T-Pro replay. It's looking good. So, it must be quite hard because if you think about it, they're absolutely side on from the roster and from that position, and if it comes like towards you in the air, it must be quite difficult to get the perception right. What we need to do is we need to find car number 8 of Jorge Solar, who's coming into the lap, I think. Yes, it's down the straight now. That's down the straight. That's Jorge Solar. He's in 4th. He's under a little bit of pressure from Patrick Bremstaller. Lewis Jones has dropped down to 5th, but I think he's actually had his second. I'm not quite sure what's going on with Lewis because he was leading easily. He's in 5th and not far behind Solar, but strange drops for Lewis. Whether he's taking a second stop really early, which would seem a really weird thing to do. But not out of it yet. Hugo Ibanez looking quite happy with a lead of around 8 seconds from John Hazelwood, who's I think just turned laps. The car looked nice, but we saw other cars looking quicker. But John's now gone into experience mode. Just turned laps and watch everyone else having problems around it. This track looks deceptively simple. We haven't seen many spectacular incidents. It's often just little bobbles and bips and that sort of thing. But you kind of end up thinking, what's going on? Why as the time of these races go on, we see more and more people hitting kind of consistent problems. So despite having seen Michael Lewis's car with a broken front suspension, this isn't a car breaker either. So Jones now goes down the straight. He's gained slightly on Solar that time by 0.7 of a second. Julius Ciclodi's coming into the equation as well. Oh. That corner, which really didn't catch anybody out during qualifying, is catching so many people out during the race. We didn't see any accidents down there. Another car being brought back dead. Not sure whose car it is actually, but it's another car going out. It's probably... Oh, it's Michael Lewis. Oh, dear. No, not Michael Lewis. Sorry, I knew that one. It's who is it? I got confused with Michael Lewis and the Lewis Jones thing again there. Too many Lewises. So the second car is definitely unwell. It looks like Zachariah Villabia, by the way, fans of Zachariah have been doing these Euros for years, didn't actually get a start. I think it's Patrick Bremstaller who's broken down, unfortunately. Bremstaller's definitely gone back to the pits. Maybe in a flame, may get rolling again. But he has lost a lot of time. So it's Ibanez leading. Menendez, Hazelwood drops down, so he must have taken fuel. There's all sorts of fuel going on. There's a fuel race between the cars. Oh, that's a definite advantage for the guy who came in second. Doesn't gain place there. So whoever came in second gained a place during that fuel stop. Nice work, mechanics. So it just goes to prove every part of your package you need to have right. I'm not saying the other guys did a particularly bad job. It was an excellent job by the guy ahead, whom I will find out when we go past me because I can't read the numbers anyway. I can't when the sun's not in my eyes. I can pick the numbers up in a few places on the track. At this point, I can only see them. They're going to go right in front of commentary corner. And the other little thing I'd rate is actually the picture you see. It is the 8 car that did the overtaking, and that was Jorge Soler, who got past Lewis Jones. You can see it in the pits. That's why 5th and 6th has changed around. But they're very close to Julius Ciclodi, so this is the battle, really. So you've got Jorge Soler ahead of Lewis Jones in picture, but just ahead of them is Julius Ciclodi, who's got that bump-up place. So I'm not quite sure Lewis has dropped down from a very comfortable position he was at the start. The problem is you've got, in these finals, you've got 12 stories going on at the same time. Oh, and I think that was Solar rolling off, wasn't it? So you've got 12 stories going on at the same time, and you can't really follow all of them. No, it wasn't Solar, it was Jones who rolled off. So Solar, that is here, and it was Jones rolled off behind him. It wasn't the worst accident in the line, it cost him a couple of seconds. So it's Ciclodi, who's the man they should be after. So it's Ibanez, Hazelwood, Menendez. We've got two double bump pumps at the moment. Oh, 2 wheels up there, and he lets him through. So the blue car obviously is a lapped car. Ciclodi's had to come in. So Ciclodi's obviously gone down. So Ciclodi's was a late fuel stopper. So that's confused everybody again. Thank you, Judith. But now the three of them are back together again for the final bump-up slot. So you've got Jorge Soler there with the orange and white car. Lewis Jones now behind him. I think Ciclodi made a mistake, actually. So then you got... So this should be... I think this is Soler and Jones. I'm not going to put my money on it because... Oh, that's Soler not on the track anymore. So is this Jones now into a comfortable fourth? Or is it something else entirely? No, that is Jones into a comfortable fourth. So Lewis Jones moves into fourth after Jorge Soler made a mistake and Julius Ciclodi had a fuel stop. All this mucking about just means that they're falling off the others. Hugo Ibanez, long way ahead, 11 seconds. He's got from Hazelwood. Hazelwood a little bit ahead of Menendez. Menendez is 5 seconds ahead of Jones. So realistically, apart from Ibanez, who probably is safe from most problems, there's still a possibility of an unfortunate accident could put any of the others back out of the bump-ups. People often say, oh, you know, when you're following these races, Nick and the team, why don't you follow the leader? Well, the leader's not important in this because the leader's bumping up. It's all really about that final bump-up place. That's where the drama is. That's where the intrigue is. As you've already seen, there's about 7 different people in that final bump-up place in this race alone. So sometimes you have to sit back and just have a good look, see what's going on. I think the timing in the top corner tells you what it is. Jones has 1 point. No, hang on. Menendez has had a problem now and dropped to 5th. So Jones now is in 3rd, obviously. Now I'm not sure, but right behind Jones is Soler. I don't think it is. It's getting very confused now. I think he let Newcastle Rebel through. Oh, let's stick with Soler because that's a great idea. We'll stick with Soler, the number 8. Jorge Soler from Spain, because I think he's 4th. But there's been some scuffery and changes ahead. I'm not quite sure exactly who's where and when, but I think there's now Soler in the final bump up. Jones has moved forward. There goes the 3 car. There goes the 8 car. Yeah. So Jones is now in 3rd, and then the issue has been Menendez has dropped like a stone. So Pablo Menendez, I think he stopped for fuel and then had a problem. So he's dropped right out of contention. So it's only Hazelwood now with a double bump up. He's got a little bit close to Ibanez as well, but still 10 seconds or so away. Jones 3 seconds back. Soler 3 seconds back. Soler has 3 seconds, and we're looking at him here, from Julius Ciclodi. So Ciclodi is the man who needs to do something. He's 3 and a bit behind. However, also 3 and a bit behind, as far as Soler is concerned, is one mistake here. And he's got about, I think he's got 3, I'd say he's got 3 laps to go. No one can afford a big mistake, and Soler can't even really afford a small mistake. You can just see in the far distance Ciclodi. So the young Austrian really looking to push forward, but he's going to have to try and find, I don't think he'll do it on pace, so it's going to be down really to Jorge Soler making a mistake, or Lewis Jones making a big mistake. And Soler across the line. Still got, how long has he got under Ciclodi? 3.3 seconds still. That's gone around almost exactly the same time last time. Actually, no, it's gone up. Ciclodi made a mistake. It's 6 seconds. So in pushing, it was Ciclodi who made the mistake. 6 seconds back now. Who's that stuck in the middle of the track? Is that? It's not. That's another dead car. That's worryingly looked like it might have been Hazelwood. I'm not sure. It's one of the red cars. I don't want to jinx Hazelwood, and it may well not be him. It wasn't him, thankfully, for John Hazelwood fans. But somebody else stopped just then. That may have been Joaquin Moreno, actually. So on to the last lap. All Jorge Soler needs to do is keep it all 4 wheels down, and he will bump up to the 1/16th B final in about 35 minutes' time. Ooh. That was an absolute squeaky bum time there for Jorge, but it's looking pretty good. So it's looking like we're going to get, he's got 2 corners to go, and I think more cars were in 4th place. As Lewis Jones goes for the upside down, I think more cars were in 4th place in that race than I can ever remember. So, but the final result is that Hugo Ibanez, the junior, the youngster from Spain, is through and clear as the winner. John Hazelwood gets his second bump up. Jorge Solar is third. Interesting, Lewis Jones was scored fourth in that in the end. I think what actually happened was Lewis made a mistake on the final corner. We saw him upside down. I think he actually took so long to skid over the line that he actually ended up slightly behind Solar. So a mistake which didn't cost him much apart from one grid spot. Unlucky one, Julius Ciclodi. And then we had they've taken, there's Nuno Casaribel, Joel Suarez, Patrick Bremsala, Pablo Menendez, Joaquin Moreno, Michael Lewis, and Zachariah Villabia. And we now move to eventually the 1/16th A final. But first, shall we have a word from some of our very lovely sponsors?
RCGP loves Great Britain. So much so, on August the 5th, 2022, we're coming home for some British hijinks and all-out nitro buggy racing action.
Well, I enjoyed those, didn't you? I'm going to turn you on. You can tell me how you enjoyed those adverts. Did you enjoy them?
I enjoyed them a lot.
I thought so. We got some other inserts. Just to remind you all, this is not the usual RCTV broadcast, is it, James?
No, it's not
it is
today.
At the moment it is. It's very usual. Us running through the lower finals and wondering who's going to bump up. That's absolutely standard for all of you who've enjoyed our live broadcast ever since, well, we've been live since 2012, so for the last 10 years. The first European Championship we covered live was when Dan Bloomfield won in Fairing. Anyway, back to the story again. For those of you who remember that. But we are, once semi-final time, we are going to a full new studio show. So we just become the commentary adjunct, like you see, a bit like you see in football, really. We're the commentary in the commentary booth. And then we have a studio show. But luckily, we have people who are way more interested than Gary Neville on the programme. And we haven't asked them to all wear suits for no discernible reason.
No.
But genuinely, we have guests. We have international guests. We've recorded a lot. I mean, I think a lot of you have noticed there hasn't been a lot of interviews or features. That's because we've done all the features.
Yes.
But they're all going to go out in part of the show.
In today's show.
Because
so,
the idea. Sorry.
Now to say, so at roughly 1 o'clock, somewhere around the middle of the day, we will stop streaming on this stream. And then you can all flick over to the show stream.
Is it a different
yes.
YouTube?
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
I haven't set it up yet.
I'll sort that with producer Matt.
Yes, you're going to have to, so we're determined they're going to have to go to the new YouTube stream.
Yes, yeah, it'll have to be, because we have to flick over all the streams to go from our UK studio.
UK studio. So yes, so something we'll be onto a different stream. Is it on?
It will all be sorted and published.
Right, okay. Because I can't do that bit.
Don't worry.
Okay.
We'll sort it.
And I'll be able to see it, will I?
Yeah, of course.
So we're going to go to the final stream and the finals programme. And it'll be very exciting. But you'll need to press 2 different buttons.
Who, me?
Well, see, what you need to do really is if we can find out. Well, no, we're doing production on air, but it'll help the people at. If we can get the address for the new YouTube stream, I can put it in the descriptions of the old YouTube stream.
That's a very good point. I will make the inquiries now.
So if Matt can email that to me, I can sort that out. And then we can put messages up going, "Hey man, you need to go to the new stream." It's a dream, the new stream.
No, it should be good. Different format.
I've been running around talking to a lot of people, so it should work.
Yeah, I've been talking to a lot of people. A lot of we've created a lot of content. There's the pit walk, trap walk. We'll be doing some live things.
Yeah, I'm worried about that. Little bit worried about that.
Even full-scale TV production worry about live. It's okay. What's the worst that can happen? It'll be fine.
All right, the worst that can happen is it breaks, which is fine. Because you're asking me to be doing it in a different way, and it doesn't play to my strengths, i.e. camera work.
It's all good. Anyone been chatting in the YouTubes?
I don't know. There might be. They're probably just too dumbstruck. Now they've got to press a different button to get the finals.
Matt said he doesn't have the stream details yet.
Tommy Turku, what happened to Heineken? He was second. Oh, right. Okay, Heinen's been kicked out, obviously.
Kicked out?
Well, I think he obviously failed. Hello to Vasilik Zark. Hello to Patu R from Finland. Hello, Eddie Paez. Allez, le français, says Strip Drop. Estanco Cinco Benevente. Vamos Jorgo. Well, he did.
Okay.
Is this a glue track? Why is EFRA not providing a live stream? What do they actually do for the sport? What are you talking about, Leroy? This is the live stream for EFRA.
If it wasn't for EFRA, we wouldn't be here.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I think you've got the wrong end of the stick here. If you look in the top left corner, underneath RCTV, it says EFRA RC Motorsport Europe live stream. We work together. It's a partnership. That's weird. Okay, never mind. Hello to Roger Serafin. Yoki Carlson. Hello, how you doing? Hello, Brian Crawley, who said good morning all. And Tommy Turco asked the question, where can we find the show streams? It's Elements FPV. We will sort all that out so you'll know where it is. It'll be in. I'll put it. It'll be in the description of this one, and we'll tell you all about it. And there'll be all sorts of graphics telling you what's going on.
At the very least, if you go to the RC Racing TV Facebook page or YouTube channels, etc., etc., it'll just be live on there from 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock UK/Portugal time. 2 o'clock European mainland.
Yes, half an hour before the semi-finals are due to start. Anyway, really, having discussed ourselves and everything else, let's have and been pointed out very excellently by Tommy Turku, there's been a bit of a problem regarding someone has failed tech, which has let Mitchell Booth into the race. So, Carlos Duarez is in 1, Matthew Chaffardon is in 2, Maxime Noble is 3, Alex Vowles is in 4, Marcel Trieb is in 5, Jerome Sartel is in 6, Aleix Montero is in 7, Alessandro Scaramuzzino, great name, is in 8, Matthew Benettin 9, Alejandro Duras 10, Iker Tellez 11, and Mitchell Booth 12. And it was Mitchell, Iker, Alejandro, and Matu who bumped up. And Mitchell will be quite surprised because he wasn't bumping up until Ari Heinen obviously failed some element of tech. What we have seen, we've seen quite a few tank fails on tech, which is not going to surprise anybody because when it gets hot, tanks fail. Because they expand. And everyone's right on the edge of the 125cc limit.
Oh.
And when your tank expands, even though you're probably not cheating or not intending to cheat, you've taken away that last little bit of margin and you suddenly find yourself with a legal tank. It's not, it's one of those things where, yes, you've broken the law, unless I suppose you could say you have cheated, but it wasn't in any way deliberate.
Yeah.
It's just because temperatures got in the way. I mean, it's interesting, really, because there is no advantage in having a bigger tank in these races, because it's a standard 2-stop race. You're not trying to eke out a third stop. So if you've got an extra half cc, it doesn't actually. But I know it's not the point of the rules. I realise that, but no advantage is gained, so there's no point doing it deliberately. But unfortunately, some people are getting caught out by expansion. But I don't know that's why Ari failed the tech. There's other reasons it could be as well. Okay, down they go, and they're away, and it's a clean-ish start. I think someone fourth for side of the track. No, it's a clean start. Well done, everybody. So the bright green machine of Carlos Duarez leads. There's a little kerfuffle again during the switchback. So it's Duarez. I'm going to say it's Shafford on second. I don't know for certain. So nice, long, loping jump up for the number 1 machine of Carlos Duarez in bright green. He's followed by the number 4 and number 5. So the 2 and 3 have had an issue. 2's way down. Chaffredon is dropping like a stone. Chaffredon actually has dropped to 11th. That's not what I would call a good start. So it's Vals and Trebe in second and third. Just make second and third the focus. They're a bit closer. I get the impression that Duarez is going to go off and do his thing for a few laps. Banana time now for James, by the way. Oh, that was close in the air, wasn't it? Needs to get all the potassium he can. So it's just like he's taking a break like one of the tennis stars at Wimbledon. We're watching the racing stars here in Barcelos, which can I just say was quite a lively town last night. Barcelos, and they had a kind of an ABBA tribute going on across the river. Interesting, there is I think there's a bit of a Barcelos is one side of the river and Barcelinos is the other side. I get the idea that Barcelinos is a much more serious town. Oh dear, just nudged him, no harm, no foul. But second, third and fourth getting close together. Still Vals from Trebe, and Maxime Noble attempting to catch up behind. Okay, so they go across now the 5 and the 3. Jerome Sartell in 5th. Multiple European A finalist back in the day. He's one of our older drivers now, over 40. The plus 40 final should be amazing because he's got so many really well-known names who just got old. Not as old as me, obviously, but older. Down the straight they go. Crossing the line. Vals and Trebe. I kind of thought Duarez was going to gap them, but he's not really, has he? He stayed with that lead of around about a second. It was up at about 1.7, then right behind Vals' Trebe. And it's 1, 2, 3. He's still settling down. 2.5 minutes in, 17.5 to go. Just you can see 4th and 5th racing to catch up. We'll give it a bit more of a concentration to bump up a bit later because this is quite a nice little battle between Alex Vals and Marcel Trebe. And also I'm interested that Duarez is not getting away. So 1, 2 and 3 in the same shot is what we like to see. Hope we'll be seeing that at quarter past, 20 past and half past 5. Oh, I think in the air there, I'm pretty sure that Trebe got Vals. Are quite similar looking from a distance with the colour blank out. Actually, they're very similar looking from a distance, these two. Loping around, 3 cars going over the switchback. Oh, nudge it, but no harm again. And was I right? Did they change position? No, I was completely wrong. There we are. They didn't change position. It's still Vals from Trebe. It's an optical illusion of these very similar looking cars. Definitely getting close to Suarez, though. Suarez? He's not even in it. Suarez? From Duarez, sorry. Carlos Duarez. Leading. Coming up and over. Duarez, Trebe, yeah, they are quite. The 2 cars are quite. When I usually look at the 2 cars, Valles is a lot of green. I think it's all white and purple for Trebe, but actually on this camera with the sun bleaching, look very, very similar. They have got actually slightly more different paint jobs than it looks like. As the car rolls off in front of us, luckily this time missing our various transmitters and receivers, which were taken out twice earlier in the weekend by other cars. In fairness, the cars came off worse than they did. Thankfully. So Duarez has dropped to 3rd there. A mistake. And that now means that Vals takes over the lead. Trebe 2nd, Duarez 3rd. Oh, Jerome Sartell's got Maxime Noble as well. That's interesting. See him there. In the 4th, right at the back of there. Jerome Sartell. I think he's the S-Works team manager certainly for France, maybe for the whole of Europe actually. The cars, when they go over that hill, they're sort of mostly on 2 wheels, flying down the straight. So Duarez moves back into second. 1, 2, and 3. It's Trebe and Sartell. Trebe's got to watch out. But actually, Sartell's now got a big lead over Alejandro Duras. So these 1, 2, 3, 4. You see they're snaking through the switchback and over the small tabletop and up to the almost 180 corner and down again. The very sharp jump. You can't see it on the screen. It's very disappointing. It's such it's quite a really big steep launch. But these 4 drivers in this first third of the race kind of mixed into third, got a pit stopper ahead of them. That is the leader. Valls has gone in. Juarez now takes back over again. So we're coming to the end of the first third of the race. Looking on the outside there for an overtaking move. It's Marcel Trebe. You got the Pink Panther of Jerome Sartell closing up slowly. And they all come in for fuel. So let's watch it. In Juarez. Oh, bit of insertion issue on the fuel. I think, yep, that was they couldn't get the gun in, so lost the place. So Juarez pit team had a little bit of problem with the angle of the gun, but you know, it happens. And they're back out again. Sartell jumped both of them in that moment. Lost 12. That is Mitchell Booth. Didn't know he was going to be in the race, and now he's not in it anymore, unfortunately. So I think Sartell in the 6 may have got ahead of everyone there in that pit stop sequence. Yep, he has. So Sartell has taken 2 places in the pit stop sequence. Trebe has taken 1. Duarez has dropped down. So it's Valls who went in first, and now has a nice lead. And now Sartell in second. Trebe and Duarez is 3 in a bit back. So the battle now is Duarez trying to get past Trebe, trying to get out of the person who's in the dropping zone. And actually Sartell, that's the leader as well. 1, 2, 3, 4 going through the S-bend, coming up to commentary corner, down the hill. Not much in it. Val's okay with the lead of 1.3. Sartell, you see there. It looks purple on the screen to me, but obviously that car is I'm sure, is pink. Oh, what happened there? I'm glad the camera saw it because I didn't. T-Pro replay will tell me. As to what, right, it was what happened was Trebe actually rolled coming off the mini tabletop, and then unfortunately, unluckily, Duarez hit his accident. But that's going to cost both of them and may start splitting us all up. Duarez comes down the main straight. He is now in third. Trebe is... Okay, so Trebe's a long way back now. So what we need to do is we need to find Trebe, because Trebe's now on the bubble. So just wait for the next car. And that should be Trebe. There we go. Yeah, he is. There's 3 or 4 cars now, which is Trebe, Duras, Noble, and Trebe, Duras, and Noble are all fighting over the final bump-up spot. They didn't know they were until now. I'm assuming Trebe's still the leader. I think that is Trebe's car, but I'll tell you when it comes past. It's the 5 from the 0 from the 3. So yes, it is Trebe from Duras from Noble as they go down. But what was a very comfortable, Saturday afternoon drive into the 1/8 final, not happening. So Trebe's giving himself a problem now. He has got a little bit more speed, it seems, than Duras. Maxime Noble qualified third. You would think he'd possibly be able to keep up. Different day, and sometimes people have qualified slightly out of position due to bad luck or a bad run or a bit poor driving. But Trebe, he's got a little bit more pace, hasn't he? He's not finding it that difficult. Drop back to the next one, which is Duras and Noble. I'm just thinking that if Noble can get past Duras, he might be able to start doing something about Trebe. So I think that Duras doesn't have the ground speed. So round they go. See us over the line now. Oh, up the inside driveline. And, oh, dear, oh, Lorks. That's an interesting one. I'm surprised the car didn't break. T-Pro replay. So it's all looking fine here. It's an attempt by Noble. Oh, yeah. That's just one of those things. 6.5 dozen the other. Cars rolling forever. Kind of wondering, really, on that front, who you would blame. I don't think you blame anybody. Just they came to full speed, came slightly together. There wasn't an attempt to block, I don't think. It's just magnetic attraction of machines. So Benetton actually has now got past Noble and Duras. I think this is Benetton. This might not be actually. It's one of those things when you have those accidents, 3 cars go from 4 different directions and we're getting close to second pit stops. So we'll just take this yellow wheeled Fiend all the way across the line and we'll find out who it is and just check with me because this is the only time I can actually see the numbers is about now. And that is the 12 machine. Oh, no, we don't want that one. That's Booth's rejoin. Drop that one. So that's the rejoin Mitchell Booth, who probably came out of the pits in the middle of this chaos. And that looks like Dwyer, isn't it, in the bright yellow. So that's his second place Dwyer. Okay, just hold and wait at the top as we normally do. Actually, it was 9 of Benetton, actually. Irritatingly, I've done that, but that was actually the correct car. Let's see if we can pick up our leader. So I completely ruined that by choosing one car. That's our leader in the pits. So the leader's going to the pits. So we'll pick up again with Alex Vowles. Away he goes. So he should drop out of the lead just on the pit stops. Look pretty clean. And my feeling is Duarez, with about 6 to go, is probably about 4 seconds behind him. And cars are crashing in front of him. I don't think that's one of the cars pushing for the lead. In fairness, all bar 2 of the cars were on the lead lap. And Booth, we know, had trouble. So getting to the point now where cars are a little more competitive with each other. So there's quite a bit of shuffling about now behind, as you can see, as the various people go in for fuel. Not sure if a couple of cars are going as missing, but I think it's because they're taking fuel. So Duarez going long. Vowles not so much. Drop back one, Zach. That's Ash then. This should be Trebe. Oh no, it's Duarez, isn't it? Oh no, that's going to be Benetton, isn't it? We're learning our colours now. Learn our colours. Another episode of Sesame Street. So I think this is Benetton, which is fine because he's 6th. Oh, probably horrendously wrong. There's 4-1 can light yellow bodies now. That is car number 1 of Duarez. No, we're back where we are. You see, when you think you've got the colours right, you've got it completely wrong. So he's got 6 seconds on Trebe. Okay, wait one more, Zach. There we go. We'll pick up that. Should be Trebe. Should be Trebe. I'm not saying it is, because that would be too much like a good idea. Nice flying from the blue and white machine. That is the 11 of Tellez. So drop back one more. And then you have the 5 of Trebe. in third. As you can see from the time on the right-hand side of the screen, everyone's spread out rather a lot at the moment. However, we have also seen people making mistakes. We could change that in a trice, in a blink of an eye. That could all change. Okay, and one more to the Pink Panther, which is Sartell. Next one along. There we are. It's actually fourth place man Sartell. Now behind him is not someone who's trying to steal his bump up. Because behind him, actually, I think it's Mitchell Booth actually, because behind him is Benetin, but he's 3.5 seconds back. So, more relaxed race this one, isn't it, the 16th day? They've all spread out. They've all made it a bit easier for us all to enjoy. So, Jerome Sartell, one of the nicest guys in the sport. Frenchman. I think his wife's going to have a baby quite soon. So there's about to be a mini Sartell. Up the inside of the back marker. In fourth. Benetin 4.5 seconds back from him. Look at that. 4.9, 6.3, 3.2, 4.2, 4.4, 4.2. They've literally spaced out. It's almost like they're trying to qualify. Give themselves all a bit of space. Maxime Noble's fallen off from him. That Noble was on the cusp of bumping, and now he's down in ninth and many seconds off. What do we flame during a pit stop? As we've said many times, they can't all be classics, and every now and again you get a procession in the final. Oh. Having a coughing fit just so Sartell makes a small mistake. That's going to bring Benetin a bit closer when he finally crosses the line. Or not, as the case may be. No, Benetin made a bigger mistake. There we go. So, last minute. I think Sartell will get two more, actually. He's going to go across the line with more than 30 seconds. I think he's going to be cut off. Benetin isn't going to get two more. Sartell will get two more. And that will mean all he has to do is complete this lap. And he will bump up. Oh, someone's flamed on the last moment. Who's that in the middle of the... what number is it? Hard to tell, isn't it? Hold it properly. Oh, it's a 12 for Booth again. Mitchell obviously having a lot of problems with the engine running. As you say, only 25 minutes. He probably didn't have 25 minutes to prepare. He thought he was out. And Heinehan was disqualified for some reason. And even less time to get the car ready. So Sartell hasn't finished, but he has got fourth place. So we did no, he hasn't finished, but that's it. Benetin will come across in fifth in a second. So your bump ups will be Alex Vowles, Carlos Duarez, Marcel Treve, and Jerome Sartell. Matthew Benetin is in fifth. Alessandro Scaramazino is in sixth. Alejandro Duras in seventh. Maxime Noble is in eighth. Matthew Chaffredon is in ninth. Ike Tellers is in 10th. Aleix Montero is 11th. Mitchell Booth, who is having a lot of engine problems, drops down to 12th. And that is the 16th A. And next up is the 16th B. And I need to go outside.
final V to your marshalling position. Final V to your marshalling position, please.
Alex. Vaya mangón, ¿eh? Se ha sido el mangón de tu vida. Yo creo que no has corrido así de bien. No, he hecho una croqueta, ¿eh? Todo el rato. La croquetilla. Pero tú ya me la última vuelta lo has intentado, ¿eh? O sea, has intentado hacer honor a tu nombre. Ahí. No, he hecho la croqueta y empieza a decir, venga, va, y me pone más nervioso que venga, va. Pero ahí casi lo estampas en la rueda interior, y luego ahí te has ido por el tubo por dentro. Inmolador.
So as we wait for Nick to get back, I'll just take a quick look in the chat, see who's around. Aim assist, Darky. 99 cents donation. Thank you very much. We will put that towards a coffee for the crew.
That's better.
To be fair, I didn't do a lot of talking whilst you were gone.
Why not?
I didn't know what to talk about.
It's a massive race meeting.
I know, but I'm not a racer. I'm a broadcast techie.
Okay.
Magnus is a nice replay.
You managed to say, okay, hello everybody. It was a fuel tank failure for Heinlein earlier. There we are. Expanded away. Hits music. Wondering if anyone could help. Does anyone still play VRC Pro? Don't know. I think it was quite popular for a small amount of time during lockdown, VRC Pro, and then it wasn't. Actually, I need to use some talking. I've got a pie to eat.
Your Portuguese tart?
Well, I wouldn't call it that, but you know.
They are really good.
I know.
Amy says Darky really should have included the brand that everyone's using along with their country flag. We would love to too, but we find that information isn't fully handed into the race control, race timing system, and so we just end up with very patchy information, unfortunately. But we'll see. Next year, maybe. Tom Warner, Dave Crompton is a god. Who's Dave Crompton? Oh, you're racing your tarts. Sorry, I'm not asking you a question. You turned me off then. No, you're on now. I don't know. What are you doing? Sorry, viewers. Nick's just finishing his 11s, even though it's only 10 o'clock. Oh, yeah, true. That is breakfast. Roger Surfing, excellent footage, beautiful track. It is a very beautiful track and an awesome facility. I know I sound like I'm whinging and I'm really not, but I just wish it was 5 or 10 degrees cooler. I'm sat. It's 10 o'clock in the morning and I'm soaked. It's horrible.
Yeah, we got we've got a kind of a small air conditioner and a fan, and it's still very hot. Main reason being is this booth obviously is a sealed box with massive windows, and all through till about 11:30. The sun is absolutely shining through, and there is not a cloud in the sky.
You've just reminded me.
And it's giving you nothing but heat.
I hit the jackpot earlier.
Well, hello.
I went round to pot for a natural break as the Portaloo cleaner man was pulling away.
Wow, first
Not that I
one
want
in.
to, but I felt like I could have eaten my dinner off it. It was that clean.
Yeah, okay.
Smelt beautiful, completely empty.
Marvellous.
It was perfect.
Right. Brilliant.
Just thought I'd share that with you.
Thanks for sharing.
That's all right.
That's not all I can say about that. Thanks for sharing.
Here they go. They go out. They
So
are going out, sorry. Can't get my
they
words
got
out.
there's 3 minutes for anything happens, but
Yeah.
we'll be enjoying the first the 8th final, so the second and 16th finals. Sorry, wrong way around. Jose Thomas Escudero in 1, Ryan Majubi in 2, Ivan Navarro, the junior from Spain, in 3, Wesley van Helmen from the Netherlands in 4, Manuel Iniesta from Spain in 5, Kevin Michoudet from France in 6. It's Hal Rodriguez in 7 from Portugal. Alex Anchetin in 8. Now, Alex wouldn't normally be down this low, but there is a reason. I'll tell you about it in commentary. Hugo Ibanez in 9. John Hazelwood in 10. Jorge Solar in 11 and Lewis Jones in 12. So Solar, Jones, Hazelwood and Ibanez did the old bumpy-uppy thing. So Alex Anchetin, who you would normally expect to see in the semi-finals or something like that, is in the 16th because he only actually got 2 runs in.
Oh, so
He had 2 runs where he broke down, 2 runs where he scored all right, and then the final run he got disqualified for a fuel tank being too big.
Ah,
So he has obviously won a couple of decent scores, then one like maximum score, and that drops you down a long way.
so you'd expect him to be bumping up as well today then?
He said he's broken his leg a few months ago, and he's putting a brave face on it, but he's not 100%, let's be honest, straight away.
No. He's still hobbling.
He is. And he basically has said that he's going to have a long day because he's going to be bumping up all day, which is very positive.
Yes.
So let's hope he does. Oh, this hay fever's got me in a different way today. I've got sore eyes and I've got this unpleasant snottiness as well. Don't normally get hay fever. It's a special treat from Portugal. But there's so much agriculture around us.
Abgar Stevie, good morning. Good morning back. First race of the year to watch for me. Well, I'm glad that you've decided to choose this race as your first for the year.
Well, what were you doing the previous ones?
Exactly. Great track. Is it Astro or
No.
dyed sand and clay?
It's sealed clay
Sealed clay.
with a thin sort of coating as well, isn't it?
40 centimetres of clay on top of natural earth. Finished, compacted down and finished with a anti-water resistant, that doesn't make sense, coating. Which is great if it rains because it dries extremely quickly. The water runs off, but they can't race on it whilst it's wet because because it takes the coating back off.
Right. I don't suppose you'd wet that off from around here.
No.
Well, I must wet some of the time because it's incredibly verdant around here. It's really green everywhere. And that's not just by watering.
Shall we have a look at the starting grid?
Well, I'll go on then. It is Jose Thomas Escudero, Ryan Majubi. Jose Thomas Escudero from Spain, then it's Ryan Majubi, Ivan Navarro, Wesley van Helmen, Manuel Iniesta, Kevin Michuday, Hal Rodriguez, Alex Anchetin, Hugo Ibanez, John Hazelwood, Jorge Solar and Lewis Jones. And we're looking at the 11 for some reason of Jorge Solar. It's lovely.
That is beautiful.
So now we know he's associated. There we are.
Quick question. Afghan Stevie's asking again, is the fuel tank dead on 125 mil or is there a 10% rule?
Oh, no, it's 125 or you're out.
Wow.
Eh? Look at that. He's gone for a real close up.
Well, he gets all arty, doesn't he?
Yeah, the only problem is we need to be at the front of the grid.
He'll be there, don't we? No.
He is there. Look. There he goes. Look. Oh, he's going to get there.
Perfect.
Constant move of the camera into the start. That's what we pay him for. He gets over £1 for this, you know.
Really?
Well,
He's on that much?
well, fair enough. Perhaps I'm overdoing it. I don't want to treat him too much. So, relatively clean start. Not a huge amount of kerfuffleage early on. One car needed rescuing. It's off the back of the group, but I couldn't tell you who that is. Apart from that, it's not Jose Escudero, who's gone away. And they go across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 12, 11. So we're going off. So it's no major moves forward for Zanchetin yet. It's Escudi from Majubi. They're the two in the frame right now. So Jose Escudero. making good use of his pole. In fairness, we've seen most of the guys on the front have managed to get away quite well. It's certainly the grid is set to sort of favour, not favour, we should do, it gives the advantage you should have of being at the front. 3 and 4, Navarro and Wesley Van Helmond are battling out. So you've got a pair at the front, then you've got another pair, then you've got another pair, then you've got a single. So they are sticking a bit together. Zanchetti's made a mistake, which doesn't help anybody, or not himself, and he's dropped down to 11th. It's Harold Rodriguez in last. Drop back to the next pair, which is Navarro and Van Helmond. And then it's now a triple. They've been joined by Manuel Iniesta, because these obviously are the boys who will eventually, well, may end up fighting for the final bump-up slot in that 4th place. Oh. All yellow wheels. That's really unfair. Yellow wheels, very much the fastest wheels here. So the top 2, and then we've got this battle of 3, Navarro, Van Helmond and Iniesta. Up over the almost 180. This is the steep jump, heavy brake, big left, and they fire up and over the roller section at the back, up to the top of the circuit, through the S-bend, and then it's the excitement of commentary corner. Oh, and the 5 car of Iniesta just kind of unsettled itself on the ground, and suddenly he's lost 2 places, and Jones goes past, and Kevin Michudet also goes past, so just a minor mistake there. Oh, right off the track there. I'm not quite sure which of the drivers that was. We'll find out in a minute. Being marshalled. Big mistake. I think that may well have been Jones, actually, unfortunately for British fans. So he'll be kicking himself. And then, unfortunately, when he came off, he hit one of the marker tyres, the kart tyres he used to mark the grid positions, and got stuck against it. There we are. Iniesta, Solar, all Zanchetti and Hazelwood all past Jones, so Jones drops all the way back to 11th. The only advantage of it happening so early is he's got more time to make it back up again. So Navarro in a comfortable 3rd. Navarro lost one of his laps, I think, one of his races, I think, for a technical tank infringement. It's very difficult. The tanks are built so close to the 125 limit that when they expand in the heat, they go over, and it is literally no tolerance. Which makes me think, why don't you just build 123cc tanks just for safety? But I suppose those 2cc are very, very important, competitive-wise. So, all cars have completed 6 laps. The leader, as you see, flashing away. It's now Ryan Majubi. It's got 2.5 seconds on Escudero. Escudero being very much reined in by the rest of the field. This is Iniesta. I think we're pretty much sure we're with Kevin Michudet at the moment in 5th. Number 6 car. He's leading a trail of 4 cars, which does include Alex Zanchetti. He hasn't yet worked his way into bump up. So Michudet flying up and over in the 6th car, and then behind him it's Manuel Iniesta, Spaniard, and Alex Zanchetti with a Mayarco chassis, very much looking to get past, but he's falling foul of the fact. Oh dear, poor old Alex there in the white car, through no fault of his own, ends up a lot further behind. Just goes to show, even if you're a very, very fast driver, as Zanchetti is, getting through a race where the drivers are only a tiny bit slower than you, probably only half a second a lap, perhaps slower, is very difficult, because it's all about overtaking on this circuit, and it's not always that easy. Stick with the white car for a while. Let's see what Alex can do. It's 2 back the white car. So Zanchetti, so he broke his leg about 3 months ago, and he's still recovering from it. He's on a single crutch now. The plaster's off. He's wearing the plaster still at RCGP in Italy. As you can see, he's trying to get past Michide. Michide's just driving his line. And this is the point where you kind of think a really early pit stop would be good. Oh, look at that. He's done it. He's tried to do the double jump. He's done it. He's done it in the air. I think he's finally done that thing where you get past them by just gunning for that jump. And unfortunately, I wasn't near the replay deck there, which is very annoying. He's just gunned it, got the place, and used it. It's a bit of a risk just to use it for an overtaking manoeuvre. So, good move by Zanchetin. And he will now pick up 6th. And the good thing you can see 5th and 4th, but, well, first fuel stop. So, Zanchetin now moves into net 4th. He's flying that jump every time now. He's decided he's just going to give it a little bit more, doubling the end of the circuit. Into a train of cars. Started 8th, fell to 11th, Alex. Italian. I think he came 4th or 5th in the Euros on a couple of occasions. Had some time off. Or step back from the intensity through the pits. So he was in his pit crew. Zanchetin picked up. Whoa, that's not a great start. And he's out. He's right in pitched into a battle of other cars. So he's not really had a chance to run in free air at any point. And we'll see when they go through. Wesley Van Helmont scored in the lead. I think it's only just to the... And he's now tickling the back of car ahead of him. Be careful not to pick up a penalty. Over the back. So Ryan Majid back in the lead now. Van Helmont's done his fuel stop. Navarro second, Michidu third. Zanchetin now in 5th. Look at that, does the big jump. Good lad. First person we've seen to regularly do the big single at the end. And it looks a lot quicker. I'm not sure why people aren't doing it. So Zanchetin does have the fastest lap in this race by about half a second. And now I think he's now probably, I would say he's probably in 4th now. Maybe proven wrong. Yeah, he's got the 4th place. He's got Van Helmont right behind. That time he obviously didn't think he had the launch into it because he went for it in the easy way. Where's Van Helmont behind him? Right behind him, looking to get that bump up place back again. So the Dutch driver nibbling all around the back of the Italian as he goes to the 180. And out to the back of the track, not even halfway through this one, so both these drivers got a lot to fight for. 3rd place, which is Kevin Michude, is not that much further ahead, so there's no reason why both of these guys can't bump up. Ryan Majubi's got a nice lead over Ivan Navarro. Navarro not massively ahead of Kevin, the Frenchman, so outside Majubi, who also seems to qualify a little bit lower than I would have expected to see him in the 16th. The rest are still fighting and scrapping over those places. Behind Van Helmont, actually, it's Manuel Iniesta. He's 2nd and a half back. So all these people within, I think if you're within half an accident here seems to be about 3 or 4 seconds, and mine, a sort of normal accident. So if you're half an accident behind, you've got a chance. So Zanchetin remains in that final bump up place. This lap will see the halfway mark in the race met. In many ways, I think for once it might be Zanchetin might actually want to get not just bump up. Well, mistake there. Was that one of the back markers, or was that actually Michude? It's hard to tell because there was a lot of cars very similarly yellow wheeled and that sort of thing. It was actually involved with Michude. So now Alex Zanchetin and Van Helmont right on the tail of Kevin Michude. So it's France, Italy, the Netherlands. And they are going through the mini tabletop before they run up to the very high climb of the almost 180. Come down, turn sharp. Oh, that's 3. Van Helmont. Oh! So Van Helmont got himself up the inside, I think, there, and then kind of lost it at the same time. So he was a bit unlucky in a number of ways. I think Zanchetin's going to get scored in 3rd. Michude scored 4th. Van Helmon's dropped behind Iniesta. He's actually got the line. He got inside both of them, and then he just didn't quite get the jump. Someone's been rescued. Looks like it's Jorge Solar from the people who are overdue. So let's drop back one to Michudet, because he's now in that bump up place, the final place. He's got 2.5 seconds to nearly 3 seconds from Manuel Iniesta. You see there's Iniesta's dropping down the hill behind him in the 5 car. Okay, carry on moving. So, I think let's go. There's one petrol stop, one fuel stop, and I'm sure it's a, you don't get a big pump out. Have to get the green shield down. So one fuel stop to go. Sanchez gapping Michudet relatively easy. I mean, Sanchez just did 33.8, which is a lot faster. They're saying that actually, Majubi's on 33.9. Then after that, it's like, high 34s. So Majubi and Zantini both probably had poor qualifyings. They are in first and third. Navarro is in second. Michudet, who we're looking at now, in fourth. Iniesta not gaining anything, but Van Helmont gaining Iniesta. Now it's going to be all scrabbled up in a minute as they move into their second pit stops. And at that point, provided they all feel accurately, all change again because some are a little bit quicker than others with their team. So Majubi and now Zanchetin's picked up second. I think Navarro had a little mistake in that last one. Car dead in front. But it is now in a kind of a no man's land for Michudet. He's got himself a nice lead. So he comes into the pits. So he stops, lifted up, gun in, gun out, and off he goes. There's Kevin. Now, we won't know until the next lap where he is in relation to anyone else. Pit stop's looking at about 9 seconds, I'd say. 8.5 to 9 seconds, which is a bit longer than we often see, but it's quite a slow. It's a long pit lane. It's quite a slow pit lane because they put there's little kind of ridges everywhere, so it kind of bumps along, so you can't sprint down the pit lane. You have to go quite a sensible speed. Is that Sanchez stopping on the track there? Oh, car coming in on the right-hand side. Is that Sanchez coming in? It's the white car. Is that the end of his run already? I think that Alex may have already... He flamed out. He's up and running again. I don't know, but Sanchez was white. There aren't many white cars. Sanchez is overdue. So Sanchez has flamed. So his attempt to qualify through the day has failed at the first. Well, looks like it's failed at the first attempt. He's got 4.5 minutes, and I can tell you right now, he's many seconds behind Manuel Iniesta. So some events you can't buy any luck. Some events, that's just it. There's, you can try what you want to do, you can do what you want to do, but if the luck's not with you, the luck's not with you. Here we go. So Michiday's actually ended up in second after all the comings and goings. Dan Chettin as Hazelwood's also had a bit of a problem. Dan Chettin tries to come back, but he's seventh. It's not going to happen. Let's drop back one. Actually, drop back one. I think that might well be what we're looking for, which is Navarro and Van Helmond. That is the third and the fourth. All these are bumping up. This is third and fourth. So Michiday, Van Helmond and Navarro are very close. Iniesta's back 3.2 seconds from that. I think Zantetti's over a lap behind now after his flaming issues. So sometimes you can't buy a break, but Ryan Majubi has eased himself out into the lead and is 11 and a bit seconds ahead. As we look at the battle between Navarro and Van Helmond, though in fairness, it's been kind of dominated by Navarro. Van Helmond obviously has got behind him. He's got what have they got Navarro behind there? It's Iniesta is the key point. Iniesta is the person who can take away his bump up. Round they go. I'm not sure Navarro's got the way around. Navarro, Van Helmond, Iniesta. 2.5 seconds back still. So again, we're waiting for this one to explode into life. We've had the drama. We've lost Zanchettin, who was, the favourite for this one, but just not running properly through they're not running the whole 20 minutes. And that's it, really. It's a tough old world, the world of nitro. Sometimes you just have a technical issue, and there's nothing you can do. You can do as good as you like. You can be the best person there, but you can just go out with a flame. And sometimes it's your fault. Sometimes it's just one of those things. So off the track there as Navarro, which is a bit of going to cost him some time, but Van Helmond, that's Van Helmond past Navarro. Now back to Navarro, because he's now, I think, going to be under pressure from Iniesta, because Iniesta is only 3 seconds off. Now, I'm not sure if this is Iniesta behind him, because there's a lot of very similarly coloured cars. But the net effect will be that they'll be a lot closer as they go past this time. Right. 3 of Navarro, then Van Helmond. No, it was Van Helmond went over. So it is Iniesta now who's picked up that position. And Van Helmond is fighting for his life to get it back. So there we are, Iniesta in the blue, Van Helmond in the multicoloured car. That is the battle for the final bump-up place. So Wesley has held that quite easy for a while. That mistake's taken it out of him. And as they fly over, and the thing to remember is that Navarro's not much further ahead of them. So these three will come past now. The 0, the 3 and the 5. And there's the 4. As Van Helmond's made a little mistake and dropped back further. So actually, that's the battle between Michiday and Navarro. Navarro's got past Michiday now, and they're fine. That's the car. That car arriving last is Van Helmond, trying to get back on terms. No, he is getting back on terms. This is the last lap. They've got a few corners to go. Can Van Helmond take part one? Those two. So the third car is the car that's really interesting there. Can he get past either of these two cars? He's got 2 corners to go. Can he throw it up the inside of the final S's? He's got the commentary corner to go. He flies over. It's so close. Gave it a go, Wesley. Gave it a go, and it came up short by 0.2 of a second. So right at the end there, they came all together, and the result is that Ryan Majubi takes that one. Kevin Michuday is second. Ivan Navarro is third. Manuel Iniesta takes it by 0.3 of a second from Wesley Van Helmond, pushing hard, the Dutchman. Alex Zanchettin, unlucky in 6th, but that's them's the breaks. Jose Thomas and Scudero is 7th. John Hazelwood ends his Euros after 2 bump-ups in 10th. Harold Rodriguez is in. Sorry, he's in 8th. I'm sorry. In 9th place was Harold Rodriguez. In 10th was Lewis Jones, who had that flame. 11th was Hugo Ibanez, and Jorge Soler was the unlucky man in 12th. Falling by the wayside just after halfway with technical issues. So there we go. That's the end of the 16th final, and some shocks and some excitement. So let's now have a word from our sponsor.
RCGP loves Great Britain. So much so, on August the 5th, 2022, we're coming home for some British hijinks and all-out nitro buggy racing action.
And hello, everybody. Thank you to AIM Assis Darky, who donated a little bit of cash. Thank you very much. And also thank you to even more cash, Mender RC. That's lovely. Thank you. That's 3 coffees, I think, at the current rate. Is it €1 down there for a coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's €2.99. We're 1 cent short of 3 coffees. That's fine. I'll throw in the extra cent. Hello to Jackson Mengunzi from Brazil. Karen. Does the e-buggies have their own EFRA? They do have, guys. And it was the race was at the Hoodie Arena about 6 weeks ago, and the European e-buggy champion is Juan Carlos Canas. So, quick one. Just to remind everybody, this is the stream up until the end of the quarterfinals. There will be a new YouTube stream, new Facebook streams, everything for the semi-finals onwards, for the final show, as we call it, which we're putting together a complete package for you all. Very heavily laden with exciting features, possibly. Those of you who've watched the Euro finals with below, there's a lot of dead time in between the various races, so we're going to fill that dead time with fabulous entertainment, aren't we?
We are.
That's right. And we'll have links to all that as soon as I get them. But I haven't been sent them yet by Matt. Right, so this is the 1/8 final, which normally would be of no interest apart from who gets into the quarters. But there is a little bit of, what's the word for it? Edge to this one. Weird edge, in fact, in many ways. I'll just read out the grid first. It's William Skidmore on pole. Andres Meyer is in 2. That's the German, the Austrian. The Portuguese, Andre Benento, is 3. Darren Broomfield, the British former European champion from 2012. Is in 4. JQ, Jessica Quadgreen from Finland is in 5. Adrian Parente from Spain is in 6. Jessica Paulsen from Sweden is in 7. Goncalo Melo from Portugal is 8th. And then with Alex Vowles, Carlos Gerard, Marcel Treve and Jerome Sartel, who bumped up. Now, I'm not quite sure how this happened, but somehow David Ronefalk has told JQ that if he's beaten by Jessica Paulsen, he has to overall in the event, he has to retire. I'm not quite sure. JQ seems to think he seems to agree with it, so I'm not sure. I think it's a little bit tongue in cheek, but yes. By the way, I don't think Jessica knows anything about this bet. Obviously, Paulsen is Sweden, Paulsen is Swedish. Sorry, not the whole of Sweden. It's not Jessica Paulsen. Jessica Paulsen is Swedish, as is David Ronefalk. So obviously a bit of Swedish humour here. That and their very salty licorice. But so that's the one to watch for here. If they don't bump up and Paulsen beats Quadgreen, then that's it for JQ. If they both bump up, then it goes on to the next race. It's very exciting. You don't look excited enough.
I'm just talking to Matt on text message. That's why.
You told him to send me the link.
Yeah, don't worry. It's all in hand.
All in hand? Oh, it's always a worry, but it's all in hand.
I've got another Portaloo story for you.
It's never going to stop, is it?
No. I just went for a very quick natural break. As I walked out the Portaloo, I'm greeted by Chris Circus with a camera who'd waited all that time to get my emergence from the Thunderbox.
Oh dear, Thunderbox is one word for it.
It really made me chuckle. That was quite funny. So I'm glad it was only a short visit, otherwise he might have been there some time. waiting for the joke.
So it's quite rude. VMIT's call number, that's exciting. Right. I'm not quite sure, given the fact they're 4 minutes ahead of time now. I'm not quite sure how that works. I think they were 3 minutes behind a minute ago. So we have this kind of moment where they get to rev their little engines.
There is Jessica Powson above the FEPRA sign on the right-hand side of that FEPRA sign. I know because I saw her with that top on this morning. It's quite cool.
JQ is slightly off camera to the right. Because you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You've got 10 drivers. 2 of the drivers aren't in there
because you've positioned the camera incorrectly.
No, because you can only position it for one or t'other. You can either get the pit lane in, because the pit lane is an offset. Your pit lane is further on down than the drivers.
You can't just zoom out and get the whole thing.
Well, then you get loads more trees around it. Honestly, it was a critic. I didn't literally just bunged it up, and we were quite quick setting up, as you know.
I know.
Honestly, it was a critic's nightmare.
Too right. So is this the JQ retirement race?
Who knows?
Avgas Stevie, I'm looking forward to the LSOR race. So are we.
It's in 2 weeks' time. It's live.
Oh, that's the other event that we'll be covering with the finals day.
No. LSOR is large-scale off-road.
Oh, sorry, it's large-scale on-road. Yeah, my bad. Does the 8th E-Buggies have their own EFRA race?
Already answered that.
Oh, sorry. Well, what's the answer? I want to know.
Yes.
Okay.
It was a few weeks ago in Huddy Arena, and it was won by one Carlos Canas.
Oh, right, okay.
We've covered it.
Just asking.
Do you remember you had your really bad back?
Yeah.
That was an EFRA E-Buggy event.
Was that E-Buggy?
Yeah.
When I sat in the, lay down in the media room on the couch pretty much all week.
Yes. I don't want to say anything, but yes.
Had to be done. Couldn't move. And quite conveniently, Zach's actually got a shot of us there.
Oh, there's JQ.
The aforementioned JQ with his green hair.
This is his last ever race. I kind of get the impression that even if he loses, he might just change his mind. But, let's play along with the game for a while. And all you can see is how lovely and green and verdant it is out width of the track. There's grapes on the left and fields of corn on the right. That's the vineyards. That's the out-focus vineyards. That's the vineyards, I think, because that's something else. That's different fruit trees. The vineyards are over the back and the corn's on the right. I think it's always
grapes
important.
to the left of me, corn and cob
corn
to the right.
There's all the corn there. You can see through the pistol grips.
Here I am stuck in the middle with you.
Exactly, yes. With absolutely no sort of food at all. Right, so there we go. They're out. All the kart tyres marking the position. So we've already seen, I think was it Lewis Jones full foul of hitting the kart tyres. They weren't there during the race, during qualifying, of course.
Oh.
So, William Skidmore. I actually don't know if William's the younger or the older of the Skidmore brothers. So I'm going to say one of the Skidmore brothers. I know they're not twins. Well, they're not identical twins anyway. I think I'm second-guessing myself about people I don't know now. Go Jessica, says Christian Mathis. There's people here, I think, I wonder where the support is.
Have the viewer numbers just shot up to see if this is JQ's last race?
I don't think anyone knew until about 2 minutes ago. They're telling their friends as we speak. Here we go. 1/8 A final. Skidmore, Meyer, Bento, Bloomfield, Green, Parente, Palsson, Mello, Vals, Dorales, Trieb and Sartell. And it's a good, clean start for the top 4. So they'll come up to complete the first lap. Nice. Williams got himself away nicely. Let's watch as they go across. So it's the 1. From the 2, from the 3, from the 5, from the 7. Now the interesting thing is 5 and 7. Quad Green and Pulsar next to each other. Let's find that big green car. Okay, drop back to the 4th place, please, because that's where the battle is. It's JQ up against Jessica Powson. We might get up a couple more places there because we've got 2nd, 3rd and 4th together. Oh, dear, Andres Meyer. Oh, dear, Meyer got almost pinged into the barrier there, not deliberately, by kind of a little bit
nudge.
kind of coming across the front of Andre Bento. Bento in the front of shot. It's quad green behind there. It's the purple or pink and blue. Oh, he's got a stop and go. So Bento got a stop and go for that one. So quad green moves into second. And Poulsen should move into third. She is actually third. It's just because the timing loops are in the pit lane as well. Doing that that drive through, Bento didn't quite. So this is second and third. And it's a slight worry really because if they both bump up, the grudge goes on around.
Oh.
So out and gone is William Skidmore. We've seen this a couple times before. Just drop back to Jessica. She's in more of a battle than JQ. So Jessica now just ahead of Darren Bloomfield. So she is leading a former European champion. Bloomfield, of course, won in 2012. Kind of sat back from the sport for a few years. We actually got a chat with him during our grid war. Oh, Poulsen made a mistake. This is good news for JQ fans. Bloomfield obviously took a step back from the sport. He had a job, he had a child, he had a life. And he's only really come back in a kind of very much part-time way in the last 12 months. I think he had 5 years off, he said.
Oh, blimey.
So that's why he's down in the 8th, because you have a certain level of talent, which he obviously does as European champion, but sometimes you just have to keep on practicing to get that final length. And this is a tough room, the Europeans. They aren't going to give you any...
that's a tight gaggle, and 8's over.
So it was bad enough for Goncalo Mello, but they are very close. Skidmore's got a lovely 4-second lead. Quad Green happy in second, and it's Bloomfield and Trebe, and we're kind of now with the Poulsen and Parenti. Neither of them currently in the bump-up position. Poulsen and Parenti got Trebe just ahead there in the white car. There's Poulsen. And then next up is up to Parenti. Parenti's dropped off Poulsen actually, so that's good news for her to get the pressure off. And there's been a slight minor error by Bloomfield as well. It's brought him back nearer to Trebe. So the race settles down, 4 minutes in. Skidmore with about a 4.5 second lead from JQ. Then it's Bloomfield, and then it's the Bloomfield and Trebe and Poulsen who we're looking at the moment. Parenti, that's the younger of the Parentes, is Adrian, who is about, 1.5 seconds back. There we are. Whoops. So Poulsen's dropped off Trebe by quite a bit there in that last lap. 35 for Skidmore, 34 for Quad Green, 35 for Bloomfield. They're settling in now.
Is that
Another green car in the race. Skidmore goes past. JQ goes past me as well. Still 4 wheels down. Then the 11, and the 7. Bloomfield's dropped down a few. Darren's had a problem this lap. Not quite sure what's going on. That's a bad lap. Bloomfield at 42. So he's dropped out of the bump ups. Let's put Poulsen back into them again. So Bloomfield's accident means it's Skidmore, Quad Green, Trebe, Poulsen with a 2.5 second cushion now. Let's drop back those 3 cars behind, or 4 cars behind, because that's turning into a disaster for all concerned actually at the moment. Now I think, don't quote me on this, that Bloomers has got a couple of places back again, so Bloomfield now is running in that 6th place. The blue and white car is Bloomfield. The other green car is Duarez. That was the car we saw, which James thought might be JQ. So Bloomfield now looking to push forward. Won his European Championship in 2012 in Fairing, where the large-scale off-road championship is in 2 weeks. Just link that all together. And he did that with a fantastic race-long battle against David Ronefalk. This was the year before Ronefalk had won his first championship. Ronefalk got ahead, and he's very young at that time. I think he was about 15. He sort of tightened up a little bit. It was noticeable. Actually, it wasn't 15, it was 14, I think. And Bloomfield just hunted him down and won the championship. Obviously, the following 2 years, won the Euros. And then 4 years after that, he won the Worlds in 16. So, part of the learning experience. There's a car in the fence there. Not sure which car it was. The cars are already... Some cars are already a lap down. Powson is due. She goes over. Was it Mello? Yeah, I think it was Mello. Mello was in the fence. So Bloomfield now back on the hunt. Not got to the first pit stops yet. Duarez, Mello, Vowles. No one's out of this one yet. Sartell, possibly Sartell and Bento are struggling, but they're not out of it. No one's been lapped yet. Actually, Skidmore has lapped Bento, so there's 10 of them are still running, in with a good chance of the top 6. Into pit stop time, and into the pit stop time comes Darren Bloomfield. So Bloomfield streaked over the line. We've done this a few times. And out he goes. So the question will be, when we run through this first set of pit stops, almost exactly on 7.5 minutes for Darren. Because people can run longer, sometimes they do. Because most people can do 8.5 minutes, maybe 9. So it's better to even it up. It gives you less chance of a situation where you've got low fuel and you perhaps roll over and you flame. So people tend to refill when they have plenty of fuel left anyway. So Skidmore remain to lead. So Bloomfield's dropped down behind Powson. I'm pretty sure that is... Sorry, behind Marr. I'm pretty sure that is just on fuel stops. He was behind Powson anyway, but Marr's now the interloper in that list of cars. And I can't see Marr ahead. Or Meyer, I think it should be, other than Marr. Meyer, Anders Meyer, the Austrian. So Bloomers, that's the target acquired ahead of him, which is the orange and... Oh, that's not the track though. Impressive, but he's lost a place as Duarez goes past him. So made the mistake, recovered the mistake well, lost the place. Duarez goes past him and now starts. He takes up the fight to catch Powson up. Powson isn't bumping either, but I'm sure Meyer's on a different fuel strategy. But is Meyer just going to stop once? Is Meyer going to get to 11? I don't know. It's all very exciting. I may have got this completely wrong and missed Meyer improving, but just saw Green have a bit of an argument with Bento, but that's about a lapping argument. Just to remind you, Skidmore, who we've not shown in the first lap, is miles ahead. Now, Powson, it was Meyer has taken his stop now, so Meyer was the interloper there. Drops right down and obviously took it off 8.5 minutes, so he won't be able to stop. He'll have to stop once more. Right, so this is now Powson who has got the bump up, and Durari's in the green who's after it. In the background, you've got Bloomfield and Goncalo Mello, who would also be quite chuffed with it. Remember, Jürgen Trieb is 5 seconds ahead of Powson, so this is very much, she's the one in danger. So Jessica with the HB chassis. Look at that. Duarez absolutely flying after her now. He's really got the bit between his teeth in the all-green machine. It's Powson. The switch back, and you don't really need a stopwatch anymore. You can see the gap, and certainly Duarez is finding this chase enjoyable. Obviously, we go back to that really age-old thing. There's a very good driving. I think it was Sartell letting them through. That age-old saying that it is easier to follow than to lead. And it's pretty obvious that Duarez is very much enjoying following Powson. Now he's going to get past her, though. Across the line. Bloomfield dropped a bit of time off them, so he actually lost half a second to both of them that time. So it's Powson. So just at the front, Quagrain, Skidmore, Trieb, all moving forward. Powson hanging on for dear life for the final bump up. Still only just under half the race to go. So there's and another pit stop. So there's a huge number of variables now between Jessica and the quarterfinals. Oh, Duarez, lovely little move there. Got up the inside nicely. There he goes. So Duarez has not only got past, he's now pulling away, and this is going to be an issue for both Jessica Paulson and theoretically Darren Bloomfield, because that's the bump up disappearing into the distance there. Trebe, Quad Green, Skidmore so far look pretty solid in the top 3 positions. But now, either Jessica or Darren, or even perhaps Alex Vales, need to find a little bit extra pace and see if they can pull it out on Duarez. It's noticeable that Paulson kind of dropped back. I think she's managed to steady the gap. But she needs to start moving nearer. She's got 0.7 of a second behind. So we're getting close to where they might start thinking about another stop. Probably a couple more laps without thinking about it. Now you can see it on the same shot there. Duarez, Paulson and Bloomfield. Just about to go back and start a new lap again around commentary corner. Bang, there it goes. 1.069. On the top, the difference between the 3 of them is less. Though Paulson has dropped back slightly from Duarez and dropped back towards Bloomfield slightly. Adrian Parente, the young Spaniard, unfortunately has had to retire. Bloomfield now all over. Let's look at Paulson and Bloomfield, because Bloomfield's now all over the back of Paulson. We're going to go up the outside and switch back, showing how hard it is to overtake on this track. There's no real, Duarez overtake on Paulson was pretty good from just really using the better drive out of the final corner. I think Bloomfield's had a problem as well. I know he just had a small problem that's took him out the frame slightly, but the problem, this actual argument between Paulson and Bloomfield, they both come at the same time. That's not what Bloomfield wanted to see. He was pushing her along, he's so close to her. There goes Duarez, out already, having taken his fuel. And was there a change in the pits? There wasn't. They go out together. So all 3 came in at once. 6 minutes to go. I think Bloomfield knows he's quicker than Paulson, but getting past is a big issue. Another big issue is I think Duarez is pulling away. So even if he gets past, he's going to have to try and make up a bigger gap. Skidmore has a 7-second lead over JQ. And it's... Oh, Marcel Treves had a problem. Oh, no, he hasn't. It's Andreas Meyer again, who's got into the mix by running long. And Meyer now scored in 4th, 12 in the 8, which is a couple of people who are not particularly involved in the battle have had her coming together in front of us. So Paulson and Bloomfield apparently scored 6 and 7. They're not actually. They're 5th and 6th. But there's a lot of... It's not a lot of time actually of either of them really, because the problem, the absolute issue they've got is Duarez is so far ahead of them. So Treves isn't. So Treves had a problem. Treves is a bit closer. There's Andres Meyer in white and red, who needs to stop again. Currently he does hold that position, but he needs to stop again, Meyer. Mind you, Skidmore and Quad Green away and safe. Duarez putting in some pretty good times. Meyer now goes for fuel. Right, so that clears up my brain so I can work out what's going on. So it's all about Treves, who I think is 3 seconds up the road. It's not Duarez, or is Duarez now? There's a quite stretched out fuel strategies going on. But these two, Paulson and Bloomfield, have been nailed together for the last 5 laps. Just under 4 minutes to go. And Bloomfield, it's like he's looking for some way of getting past Powson, but Powson is driving to line, which is what you should do. There's no reason to give him any quarter. Oh, went for it. Didn't work. Have a go occasionally. Look, T-Pro replay. Just thinking he's got a chance up the inside there on the down to the tabletop, but no. If he had got 3, he got a penalty, so he stopped in time and didn't get one. There they are again. Still purple and white. Sorry, purple and blue, still ahead of blue and white. Car behind them, which is Alex Vales, I think actually is now those 3 are now together in this positioning. Trebe is 2.7 seconds ahead of Powson, and I think that was Trebe hopping away ahead of it. Yeah, if you look at Trebe, that's Trebe there, he's about to go through the low tabletops. That's their target, that's the 4th place man. 2.5 minutes. Gerard just disappeared in the distance. He has some real speed in that all green machine. So it's all green machine 2nd and 3rd here. So those are 4, 5, 6 and 7 rolling through the picture. And that's the key thing, because it's 4th place is the last of the bump-ups. William Skidmore fans, the fact we've not shown him is nothing but good news for you, because it means he's got out in front and slowly eked away from JQ by about 9 seconds in the end, or it is now. So Powson, who's now been under pressure from Bloomfield for about 10 laps, hasn't made a single mistake, which is really quite impressive. I'm just wondering whether how much she's slowed down or how much she's off her maximum speed in not making that mistake. They are slowly gaining on Trebe. Distance to Trebe now is less than 2. Oh, mistake from Bloomfield. But that's going to release Powson now to really attack Trebe. You can see 2 corners ahead. I think Bloomfield had a second mistake. I think now it's Val's behind. But we'll find out in a second. But now Powson, minute 34. It's quite a big ask, to be honest. So this looks like good news for JQ. Looks like his career continues. However, if Powson can get Trebe, then it goes on to the quarter-final A. Is that upside down? Is that Trebe? That was Trebe. Trebe's upside down. That was it. Powson's in. Powson's in. This is going to go on the quarter. Powson's gone into 4th on the penultimate lap. Bloomfield is a second and a half behind, but as it stands, that car stranded upside down as he shot past on the inner kind of jumps in front of the rostrum. That was Trebe. So Powson now into the bump up, but Bloomfield just 0.6 of a second behind and going for it. So Bloomfield is, he's absolutely on maximum attack now. Someone needs to tell him that he is now for the final bump up. Will it be former European champion Darren Bloomfield or the young Swedish lady who will take the final bump-up slot? They've got this one, and I think one more. And Bloomfield's upside. Oh, side by side. He got a bit of a nudge it. How much time has he lost on that one? Quite a lot. That may be it. 1 lap to go. Defending her place. In fairness to Powson, she's been absolutely rock solid in this run. She has at no point at any time made a mistake. She's just sat there on the line, which is completely what you should do, fending off people. And that's a great run by Jessica. Many, many laps, completely error-free. Not the fastest way of getting round as by putting out a game, but is the most effective way of making sure you bump up. And she just goes inside another dead car. Not sure which dead car that is. And Powson comes over to qualify and bump up and continue the battle with JQ into the quarter A. William Skidmore wins. Great performance by William. We didn't talk about that's how good it was. Second was JQ. Didn't talk about him apart from his battle with theoretical battle with Powson. Third was Carlos Duarez, who showed some real pace once he got into clean air. Jessica Powson, who drove at least 7 minutes without an error, I was watching. Darren Bloomfield tried everything, couldn't get past. And Marcel Trebe, who was sitting in the pound seat until he made a mistake with 2 laps to go. And it was Alex Vars, Andres Meyer, Goncalo Mella, Andre Bento, Jerome Sartell, and unfortunately Aidan Parent, who didn't make the trip. So, will JQ retire? 2 laps to go. He was still in the game, and now it's all gone again. He could have still had a problem in the next race, but both Powelson and Quagreen have bumped up.
That was great to watch. That was really good. She was definitely in a rhythm.
It's great driving.
Driving really cleanly. I think if Bloomfield had been a little more patient, I think he could have got her.
I think he was patient for about 6 laps, realised he couldn't get past me, so he had to try some stuff.
Just lost it. She's got a smile on her face as she walks past commentary box. So whilst we wait for the next round to come out, we'll hear a quick word from our sponsors.
RCGP loves Great Britain. So much so, on August the 5th, 2022, we're coming home for some British hijinks and all-out nitro buggy racing action.
I can tell people enjoyed that race because there was virtually no chat.
People were locked in.
Go, Jessica, said Keenan.
No, not go. Go.
Goo,
Not
Jessica
goo,
said
go.
Keenan. Goo.
We'll be hearing from Keenan later today in the final show. Hopefully beaming him live from... Where does he live again? Nick zoned out.
He lives in Dominican Republic. I'm doing what you're doing.
Oh, no.
Talking the map.
Fair enough. So up next, the 1/8 final B. I'm not going to try and annihilate any names. That's Nick's job.
Thank you very much. But if you could, because I'm working.
Well, I'm terrible there. Car number 12, Manuel. You see, I've already done it. Inista. Car number 11, Ivan Navarro. Car number 10, Kevin Michday. I'm so sorry if I'm getting these wrong. Car number 9, Ryan Majubi. Car number 8, David Todd. In 7, we've got Jerome Agoin, I think. Car number 6, Marco Natel. Car number 5, Brian Baldo. Car number 4, Clement Boda. 3, we've got Gabriel Astorino. 2, we've got Lee Martin. And in car number 1, we've got Miguel Matias.
Miguel Matias.
2000
in the Portuguese 2003 or 2004 European champion, you mean?
I did mean it. I don't know. That's your job as pundit.
Yeah.
To know all these things.
You're not far wrong there. Oh.
I need to listen to what this video says it's from.
Okay. Right, so we're just having a little bit more, always good fun of technical stuff here. Keenan's going to file a protest against JQ. Oh well, for just not losing. Quick health check. You right, Zach? You okay? Oh, a little thumb. He's in an orange into yellow top today, which I think is Barcelona's third strip or something, isn't it? Something like that. Weird football choices he makes. Right, so getting ready for the next of the quarterfinals. Okay, so a bit of a break, a bit of a delay as we wait for. I don't know, delay, just the normal kind of carrying on. Okay, so the 3-minute warm-up has begun. So it's Miguel Matias in 1. Lee Martin in 2. Gabriel Astorino in 3, the junior. Clement Boda in 4. Brian Baldo in 5. It's not good for Brian. Marco Natali in 6. Jerome Igon in 7. David Todd, the Spanish junior, in 8th. Right, and then we've got the bump-ups, which were Ryan Majubi, Kevin Michude, Ivan Navarro, and Manuel Iniesta. So Portugal, Britain, Italy, France, Spain, Italy, France, Spain, France, Italy, Spain, Spain. So there's a big French-Spanish contingent in this one. 2 Italians and a Brit. And a Portuguese. Oh, perhaps not as big a bigger contingent, I thought. Oh. Okay, so this is the 1/8 B finals. Remember, we're going to run all the way up to the quarters here, and then we are going to have a brief break for the semi-practice, and then when we come back for the semi-finals, we're going to be on a different stream on YouTube, which is our final stream, which is going to have all sorts of special stuff on it. It's going to be a proper finals presented program. We've got all sorts of edited stuff to go out, and it's just going to try and entertain you as much as possible for the final stream. So you will need to click a bit of a different button, in fairness, but apart from that, you'll have everything you want from us. Everything. Right, they're out now for this, the 1/8 A. Time to go. Cop. And off we go. Matthias makes a clean start. I think it's Lee in second. I'm not going to guarantee that. Away they go. 1 from 2, from 3, from 4, from 5, from 9 and 0. So there's a bit of a gain there from Majubi and Michude. And the winners, the rest have gone off in order. Igon a bit of a loser. And this was Todd. So Nice lead already for Miguel Mathias. Drop back to more to second. It's Martin, who's leading Gabriel Astorino around in the green car. And then behind him, it's the 5 of Brian Baldo, who's just got past Clement Boda in that one. Igon, Majubi's made a mistake. That's an expensive mistake to make early on. And Igon's back to 7th again, so he's trying to be in as many positions as possible on each lap. So Matthias already nicely ahead. This is Martin. Garma is also gapping a bit. Right back to the 3rd place battle. This is a bit more kind of on and happening. Three, four, 5. A bit of a nudge. So Martin's dropped down to 4th. And there's kind of scrappage now with Astorino in 2nd, Baldo in 3rd, Martin in he's in 4th. And 5th, Clement Boda, who just has a little bit of a nib at the back of Lee Martin's car. So all mixing and moving as they have a opening couple of laps. 3 minutes in, settling all down. Oh, again, Lee Martin now getting a little bit close. Sorry, that's not Lee Martin, that's Brian Baldo getting a bit closer to the back of Astorino. So Gabriel Astorino, the Italian, following Portuguese driver Miguel Matthias. Matthias is a long way away at the moment, so that's good news for him. So there's 5 cars at the moment. It's the second pair being Martin and Clement Boda. They've got a little bit of a lead on Michelet's on a double look for a double bump. And then behind Michelet is the 7 of Jerome Igon. Igon obviously has TQ'd the Euros in the past. He's won a Euros as well. I think he's TQ'd one I was at. All round the outside goes Clement Boda. As this battle now comes with battle. Yes, so these 3 are the ones. As Astorino's dropped down to 3rd. As oh, look at that! Oh, that's not the right thing. So the 4th now is separated slightly. He's lost one, of course, because he went off to the side. So that must be Michelet kind of joined them. So Matthias leads. Baldo 2nd. Astorino and Martin. It was Clement Boda who had the big accident on the side there. Astorino, Martin. Oh, rolled over. That was, I think, was Boda. I'm thinking Astorino and Boda. No, Astorino must be. He's in the yellowest car. So Astorino rolls out of 3rd, down to 5th. Here they all go. So Matthias from Boldo, then there's Michelet's come up for his double bump and doing very well indeed now. He's pulled a gap on Martin. Astorino's dropped back, then got Igon. So it's all from being very close as a couple of laps ago. It's spread right out again. So Michelet, Kevin, looking for double bump up, looking very confident of that in the moment. You can see just going out of Fraser's Bowd. O'Brien pushing himself through. We've got Matthias with a 3-second lead. Coming up to the first pit stop. So much so they actually are on the first pit stops. Oof, blimey. Certainly going for it there and got grabbed from the side. That's worked quite well because he's gone out in front of the. Might be Astorino, might be Boda, but he's got out in front of them, but now he's up behind them again. So we see how that kind of weighs on. He went quite early. Ooh, about 5.5 minutes. Sorry, 6.5 minutes. So he's not guaranteed everyone coming for fuel now, but we've just seen 3-4 cars going for fuel. Matthias, Baldo, Martin, Igon, I think, carried on for another lap, and then Boda. Iniesta stopped for fuel, and Majubi, I think, also may have done. So Astorino's taken a big drop during his pit stop. Baldo, Matthias, Michelet, Martin drop back one. We've got Lee Martin in fourth. I think no, drop back one. And it's not Lee. Is it Lee Martin? Yeah, a little bit of a problem actually. There's been some issues. That actually is. Yep, that's the 2-car of Lee. Just ahead now of Jerome Igon. Jerome Igon is catching up quite quickly. So the Frenchman getting closer to Martin. Oof. Igon sends it up the inside and takes the place. So Igon now moves into fourth. Martin drops out of the bump-up places in fifth. No one's massively ahead, though, because Matthias' lead to Baldo is only a second. And it's 2.5 to Michelet. Then there's a big gap here to Igon and Martin, the last of bump-up places. So having kind of rather effectively got past Martin, Igon not really able to gap in, and Martin now thinking about doing the same thing again. Iniesta behind them, pushing 4 seconds back. Martin lost a bit of drive there, he came down the hill. Lost a few tenths on that one part of the circuit. Not something you want to do at any point. So it's still Matthias from Baldo from Michelet. We're looking at Igon and Martin. Iniesta, Astorino, Natali, Boda, Majubi, who's not really shown what I thought he would, because I know he's come from the back, but he was so much quicker than the rest of the people in his 16th final. Igon and Martin are gaining on Michelet each lap. gained about that's part of 2.75 of a second last time round, so they're dragging themselves forward. Both of these European champions. Igon actually in this class, and of course Lee Martin, I think, has 7 European champions, I might be wrong, 7 European championships in 2 and 4-wheel drive electric off-road racing. So Martin obviously been the top of the game in electric off-road racing. I think it's been the Brits who kind of dominated for a while were Martin and Cragg. But certainly that was blown out of the water last week in Retford for the European Championships. We saw Tommy Hall, young man from the UK, win the 2-wheel drive, and only Craggy made the main final. And then we saw Marcus Carup win. He's even younger in the 4-wheel drive, and I think Lee made the final and Craggy didn't. So changing the guard, or certainly on that surface, the changing of the guard at Robin Hood Raceway. We haven't really seen a change of the guard here. Obviously, the Kilic brothers have both used the fact they're 2 years older than we lost them to improve massively, but not a huge surprise because they always had the talent. But it's Birkin Kilic who qualified second behind Juan Carlos Canas overall in the qualifying, and his brother, Burak Kilic, who qualified second, and Birkin, his brother, was I think 7th overall. Oh, there we go. And it's more tricky. It's a very tricky pit lane. It's got that left and right, but you can see those ridges. It's bump the whole way down. And there they go. Out. That's Lee Martin out for his final stop. 6.5 minutes to go. The Majubi-Igon gap is down to a second, which is quite key, because it's possible, as Igon gets, which I think that's because of fuel stop, or is it just because of bad lap from Majubi? No, it's bad lap from Majubi, so that actually has gone and changed. Now, will Lee Martin come out ahead of Kevin Michude's lap time? He's come straight out into traffic, which you don't want to do. So Lee, the second of these two cars. I'm just wondering if that's Kevin Michude, who's ahead. Oh, well, he's now upside down and all over the shop. So Baldo's gone ahead of Matthias on the fuel stops. Igon's in for fuel, was in for fuel last lap, so they're all going to kind of constantly back together again. And Lee has indeed got past Kevin Michude. So this is the new world order. I think Baldo may have to stop. It's Baldo, Matthias, Igon, Martin, and then Kevin Michude, who was sitting pretty really for a lot of the last 7 or 8 minutes. And I think made a couple of little errors, and then we saw the final nail in the coffin. He rolled whilst just ahead of Martin. Now down to Kevin, the Frenchman, to really push on and see if he can find the pace. Now he's a double bump upper. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. It doesn't mean he hasn't got the pace, because it could be that he had a bad qualifying session and shouldn't be in that he finally was in. But it's more of an ask to keep bumping. Oof. So just remind you what's happening a bit later in the day. We have the 2 quarterfinals coming up. And then we have, and we will be transferring across to a different stream on YouTube and a different stream on the new stream also on Facebook. So there'll be 2 new streams for the finals day programme, which will start at 1:30. 1:30 that will start. I said 1 o'clock that will start at. It will start at 1 o'clock for taking the first bit of racing, which is the 1:30 bit of racing for the first of the semi-finals. So Baldo back in the lead again by a second. So Baldo's still in the lead by a second. I think it wasn't actually a lead itself. Igon, Martin were looking at Iniesta a long way behind. So it's quite a big gap, quite a big belief that this is not going to be the top 4. Might even be a chance to have a little look in a minute at our leaders, because I don't think there's going to be a battle for 4th place. Iniesta being 12 seconds back almost on Martin. It's a good run from Iniesta from 12th, in fairness. So Baldo and Matthias doing a little bit of battling themselves. Trying to reposition back at the stop, and we'll try and find where the 5 and the 1 come past. And it's now. There's the 5. That's Baldo leading with 1 minute and 46 to go. And that just behind him is Miguel Matthias from Portugal, so it's Spain from Portugal. So after the excitement of the last one, a little bit tamer this baby. That's the way it goes. Next up is the quarter, and for a few minute break, and then we have the quarter A, which continues the Quad Green versus Palston battle. So 2 laps to go. This lap and 1 more for Baldo Matthias. Just working to make sure Iniesta hasn't suddenly leapt up to where Martin is, but no, the gap's 12 seconds. So you have 4 bump ups, barring act of God now. It's Brian Baldo, Miguel Matthias, Jerome Igon, and Lee Martin. Which I don't think would have been. I think if you'd sat down and picked the 4 drivers you most likely thought were going to come through, it would have been those 4, but just very rare that ever happens, of course. So that's it for this one. Just got to get round the corner. I'm not sure whether Iniesta gets caught by the previous lap. Actually, already Jerome Igon and Lee Martin have qualified through. It's Brian Baldo and Miguel Matthias will join them. Iniesta will be 5th. Michaud will be 6th.
What would happen in this situation if Baldo flipped over now? Would he still qualify?
Yeah, because the others can't catch. He's a lap ahead. It's not like Le Mans. You haven't got to cross the line.
No, I wasn't sure what the deal was.
No, but Le Mans, you can be a lap ahead if you don't cross the line. It doesn't count.
Oh, wow.
And then Iniesta, Michaud, Astorino, Majubi, Boda. Right, I've got a lot of little setting up things to do now, everybody. So we're going to play some adverts, and then I might not be very noisy until we start the next race.
Our RCGP loves Great Britain. So much so, on August the 5th, 2022, we're coming home for some British hijinks and all-out nitro buggy racing action.
There you go.
You have to do this. I'm setting all things up.
You know I don't do talking.
You could just read out the comments.
That's all you're good for, reading out the comments. Let's have a look. What's that? Asking about a different channel. Someone asking a different channel, question mark. I assume yes, lol.
Yeah.
Nick, what's the different channel name? Oh no, it's still all the same channels.
Yeah, it's also RCTV. It's just different.
Different streams. So when we break for lunch, we will be stopping our current stream, and then you will pick up the show
And
stream.
there'll be a link for it in the description. 'Cause I'm just doing that now. You see.
Yeah, we're going to put links in the description, and if you go to the YouTube page or the Facebook page, it'll all be there. It's the same channels, the same platforms, the same outlets.
You have to press different buttons.
It's just it'll be different.
Click.
You'll be getting the feed from TV Studio,
TV studio.
in England, and we will merely be a feed to them.
We're just their slaves.
Dun, dun, dun. Who's winning the battle, Nick? JQ or Jessica?
Well, it's a draw, isn't it? Because they both bumped up.
Yeah. Watch this space. The cream rise to the top, like always. Funny how that works. The cream does rise to the top.
It does on the whole.
Well, unless the cream gets a bit of bad luck and rolls or flames out.
I've got some unlucky cream. No, the first part has been done.
David Sandate.
Yes?
Hello, I'm back watching the finals today. How are you guys doing? Is it hot out there?
Yes. Is the Pope Catholic out there?
It's so hot, it's ridiculous. It's actually cooler now than it was at 9 o'clock this morning because the sun's now overhead and not shining straight through this window.
Hmm.
So we are waiting for quarterfinal A. Let's take a look. We can see some of the drivers and pit crews there on the screen. And here in car 12, Darren Bloomfield. I didn't think Darren bumped up.
He did.
Did he? I thought Jessica was the last one to bump up.
Oh, hang on. What's happened here? Someone's been knocked out.
What?
Jessica Powson's not bumped up. She's been disqualified.
No.
Yeah. Jessica Powson has been disqualified. Therefore, JQ lives to race another day.
Oh, no, hang on. No, she's there. She's just popped up on the screen.
Oh, they've changed it again. Yeah. Well, this is changing by the moment because actually it's not on that screen.
No,
so this is
because
really weird.
they did a weird behind-the-scenes change.
Yeah,
So
right.
I need to reload the page here. And we should see Powson at the bottom. There we go.
Wow, that
Sorry
happened.
for the confusion there.
That sounds like there's been some...
that through me, then
Yeah.
through them, and through Nick. And right, so car 12, Jessica Powson. Car 11, Carlos Derez. Car 10, Joseph Quagrain. Car 9, William Skidmore. In car 8 is Max Gotzel. In car 7, Giuseppe Tesconi. My apologies.
That's right.
Car 6, Pedro Gomez. And we have Oscar Navarro in car 5. Alejandro Perez? Is it Alejandro? Alejandro. Sorry.
Alejandro you kind of give it a bit like it sounds brilliant.
You will put me in charge of names. This is what happens. Alejandro Perez in car 4. Renault Savoia. I saw him this morning. I haven't heard much of him in the streams. I was thinking, is he racing or is he just here supporting? No, he is racing. He's there in car 3. Jonathan Skidmore in car 4. Oh, that's spot 3 million. There's a Williams.
Yeah, just beginning there.
And Una Hattonen. Car number 1. So they're currently going out for their warm-up lap. So we're just 2 to 3 minutes away from the start of the next race.
Yes.
Yes.
We are. I'm just any second now. I'm any second now in this.
You're going to be part of this again.
Yeah. Any second now. But not quite yet. Because what's happening now is I'm putting the details
of said final show.
I'm changing the title of the previous one.
Yeah. Ooh, those tablets are wearing off. You say 1. No, that's divergence. Count out 1 minute 40.
That's fine.
To the start of the
almost
race.
done what I need to do now.
That's fine. No, I wasn't saying it for your benefit.
Well, okay. This one. If you now refresh, I'm not sure if you've got to refresh it. But what you'll see is if you're watching on the RCTV YouTube, the name's changed now to Lower Finals Live. And if you go to look in the description, you have the link to the final stream. Which I'm going to check myself by pressing the final stream description, and it goes to Finals Day Show. Look at that.
Very clever. You've done this before. That's
starting at 1 o'clock. So you want to just go to the phone. You just click 1, 1, 1. Oh, Lee Martin's not in the quarter. I don't know. It looks like I don't know what's going on here. Lee Martin's not in the quarterfinals. There may be some other strange things happening. I don't know. Morning, guys. Did Darren Bloomfield bump up? He didn't. We covered this one because that was a slight issue. So we are back in with the Palston versus Quad Green. So hopefully all of you can see that we have a finals day show that is completely different. Hopefully Matt will put that link into Facebook. I don't know. I'll rewrite the Facebook links in a second as well.
Get messages from our cameraman with screenshots of the current weather.
Well, it's hot. We know it's hot. That's why we employ young men to do this. Is he saying he's run out of sunscreen? He's down to his last 11 gallons of the stuff. Okay, Una Hattonen, Johnny Skidmore, Renault Savoia, Alejandro Perez, Oscar Navarro, Pedro Gomez, Giuseppe Tesconi, Max Gotzel, William Skidmore. All the Skidmore brothers both in the same race. JQ, Carlos Duarez, and Jessica Palston. So there's basically a story behind every name. Would be what I would say. Okay, so Una Hattonen in the quarter A. The first person to miss out in the semi-final, so he's we're off. And again, a clean start. A little bit. Oh no, it wasn't a clean start. They fell over each other on the top. There's 3 of them kind of lightly not running in the middle. Oh, and there's one of the top cars has flamed. I don't know who it is, but there was a bit of kerfuffleage. And we'll have to wait until they come round. But we've lost one of the higher numbered cars. Not sure whom. Don't think it was JQ or Palston. But let's find out who it was who has not actually managed to get round the first corner. And they're going to come up across us now, and we'll find very quickly who's already out of this event. There's the 1, there's the 6, there's the 4, 5, 7, 12. I think that it was Johnny Skidmore, I'm afraid, who didn't get round the first corner. There's 2 Skidmores here, but it's Johnny Skidmore who, that's really bad luck. Skidmore had an accident on literally got 2 corners in, and that was it. So that's the British champion out of the European Championships. His brother's still running. Quad Green, long way behind Palston. That's the key point. But at the front is Una Hattonen, Pedro Gomez second. Alejandro Perez is in third. Navarro, Tosconi, Palston in sixth. Duarez, Skidmore, William. Let's score Skidmore. Johnny's running now. Yeah, Johnny's got going. He was 28 seconds off the back though, so it's a bit of a battle to put it mildly. So both Skidmore's running, but Johnny Skidmore with probably what you'd have to say is way too much to do. Actually, it wasn't 28 seconds away, he was 38 seconds off the back. He's actually already a lap down, so... second place rolls. I think Gomez has got the lead from Hackney now. I'm not totally sure. No, it is sixth. It is Gomez leading from Hackney. So that was Hackney in the green row. So second and third's where it's at. Let's drop back to second and third. There we go. So that's the battle now between Hackney and Tosconi. Giuseppe. Going up to the not 180. And flying along the rollers at the back, and they drop to the highest point in the circuit, come down heavily into the S-bend before commentary corner, and then down the main straight. So we've got two all-green cars in Carlos Duarez and Jose Quadgreen. Quadgreen not really making very much progress. Skidmore a lap and a couple of seconds behind. Renan Savoya's done very badly. He's dropped down to 11th. That's your three-time European champion in 2009, 2010, 2011. So he's not made a great start from third either. The fact that Savoya's not made a great start from third and Skidmore's not going from second makes me just guess that they had a coming together on the downside of the first corner, first jump, sorry, just about here. And that's what happened. But that's racing. Quadgreen drops behind Savoya, so Quadgreen dropping backwards. Palston not so much. But we're looking at Duarez. Sorry, Hatton, Tosconi and Duarez. Sorry, not Perez, sorry. So this is second, third and fourth. Up and over the corner tabletop. And now past us and down the hill again. Driving hard, Hatton. Got the Italian behind him with the light greeny yellow car. There they go. So Gomez has that 2.6 second lead. Tosconi now is third, and that's stretching out a little bit. It's Perez who just dropped back one more. That's the kind of the closer battle, which is the Tosconi and Perez scrap it for third and fourth. They're still bumping up. That blue car, that's Navarro. That's the one who could spoil the party. That's Oscar Navarro. All very close as they drive round. Savoya, I think Quadgreen's got past Gotzel and Duarez and Savoya, so it's Palston and Quadgreen are next to each other. There's a second and a half between them at the moment. Over the blue machine of Navarro in the background there. If he can join these three, that'll be second, third, fourth and fifth, which is fifth again is the most important number. But you never knew that 5 was the most important number. So coming into the point where we begin to think about pit stop, 6 minutes down. The early stoppers might make a bit of a dive to the left, think they can get some space on the traffic. Tosconi, Perez and Navarro. So Navarro is joining up. So that's the blue machine of Navarro. So Oscar Navarro looking to get on the back of Alejandro Perez. So it's two Spaniards. They probably know each other well from their own national series. And they've got an Italian. Oh, Navarro, they're nearly kind of trying to jump it. I think he may have just tapped Perez, and that meant that Perez was a little bit faster in the corner he was expecting. It's one of those sort of misunderstanding things. No one really gained anything out of it. No one went past. It obviously gave Giuseppe Tosconi a couple of tenths. And into the pits comes Alexander Perez. Oh. No. What happens there? Oh, almost got worse. That's just not what you want. So this will be the first part of this. Is the T-Pro replay. Comes out straight into traffic. And this is the worry, because he's come out and he's been landed. That's actually nobody's fault. It gets worse when the replay finishes because he ended up upside down. That coming together was nobody's fault, but it was kind of a case where you need to be more circumspect when you're leaving the pits, and you actually need to kind of just give a little more space. So he's paid a very heavy price, though, as Alejandro Perez, because he has dropped not just his pit stop, but the upside down issue. So Perez actually did a 47 there when it should have been like a 43. So he had 4 or 5 seconds of other issues, which means he's now right out of it at the moment. So we need to go and look at somebody else. Just reposition up here. And let's see if we can find... There's the 6th. There's our leader. There's 2nd. And there's 3rd. This car now, the 5 car now, going down the hill. That's Navarro in 4th. And as you can see, there's a massive gap now to... Actually, no, I said that there was a massive gap. That was the previous lap due to the pit stops. There's a couple of second laps to Savoy. So Savoy is now moving up through the field, but you kind of expected the Shark, the French 3-time European champion. He's that car just in the background. Now, Skidmore, it's William Skidmore, running in 6th. It's Perez, Poulsen, Duarez, Gotzel, Quadgreen. Quadgreen, worryingly for him, is about 7 seconds behind Poulsen. So is this the last race for JQ? Is this JQ's retirement race? Who knows? But there's more than half the race to go. Savoy drops down a place. He must have been late fuel stopping. Navarro in 4th. Quite comfortable from William Skidmore, 2.5 seconds, but he's pulled his way through. He didn't start brilliant. He's pulled his way through from there. Gomez still leads by 2 from Hatton. Tesconi 1 back, 2 back to Navarro, 2 back to Skidmore, 6 back to Perez, and then Savoy. Savoy's got a big job to do to get to 4th. Poulsen actually on Savoy's tail at the moment. There's Duarez and Gotzel. And Quadgreen, I think, is writing his own retirement speech at the moment. He's only 6 seconds behind Poulsen, but he's also several cars. There is your 4th place man, Oscar Navarro, but you can see that's 2nd. So that's 1st, 2nd and 3rd there going past. That was Gomez, Hatton and Tesconi. So actually Navarro's beginning to close up on 2nd, 3rd, but it's pretty obvious now as he goes through the switchback. Skidmore's dropping off him, William. So that's making it more comfortable for Navarro. He holds a bump up position. That's a bump up to the semi-finals. It's not just a bump up to something unimportant. He's now going into the semi-finals. Comes round again. So we are just over halfway. We've done 1 stop. Gomez is a nice lead of 2.2. Now 2nd, Hatton and Tesco and Navarro right together for 3rd, 4th and 5th. William Skidmore not really making any impression on them. He's 3.8 back. He's been that sort of 3.5, 4 seconds back for a while. It's down 4.2, so actually he's running slower than them, which is a worry for William. Savoy not getting past Perez. Gotzel's just done. Oh, Poulsen's just dropped back a couple of places, and she's only a few seconds ahead of Quadgreen. So I'm not sure that was a mistake from Powson. No, it wasn't really. He was 36.7, a minor bomb possibly. JQ picked up a couple. But second, third and fourth entertaining us here at the moment. It's happening in the all-green machine. It's the yellow and white of Giuseppe Tosconi and the mainly blue machine of Oscar Navarro. Sorry, yes, Oscar Navarro. There's a couple of Navarros, I get it wrong. Oscar Navarro. So Finland, Italy and Spain. Out in front is Portugal with Pedro Gomez. Alejandro Perez has got a problem. I think Alejandro Perez may have a problem being out of the race. No, just a very long lap. A bit early for his second stop, to be honest. Happening, beginning to put a little bit of a gap over to Tosconi. Tosconi coming under increasing pressure from Navarro. As the blue car looks for a way past the Italian. Oh, yeah, thought about it, no. And they roll up and over the highest point of the circuit before, well, not the highest, but the infield of the circuit, over the sharp double and over the back rollers. Left and down. It's very, very steep down. I'll do a track walk later. We try to give you an impression of how steep this whole track is. I was out of breath going up a hill down. I must admit, that's not major news. Navarro. Well, that completes. So now we're going to get into the second pit stops. Quad Green is 2.3 seconds behind Powson in the battle for his career. Skidmore stopped a long time ago with a second bit of engine problem. He's down. So Johnny Skidmore's Europeans comes to a disappointing end for the British champion. His brother's still running in fifth. Actually got a little bit close to these two. It's only 3.5 was 4.2. So it's not end of the road for the Skidmore brothers. Two coming together to the pits. There's three actually in the pits together. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see who's going to do what to who. Out they do, flying out. Released now, and it's the same order. 6 minutes and 11 seconds to go. So Powson is missing after a long lap. So Powson's taken her stop. So temporarily, JQ is back in business again. Neither of them really making any impression on this quarter-final, as we said. So everyone's saying they feel Skidmore's, I think Skidmore's a bit closer. He's about 1.5 seconds back from Navarro. So he's made some time during the fuel stops. Savoya's coming. I don't think he's got enough time, though. He's 4.8 back, so Savoya needs a bit more. Quad Green has a bit of a lead over Powson, which is obviously the only thing we're talking about, really. But I think he has to stop again. So Navarro absolutely all over the back end of Tosconi now. We've been doing this for goodness knows how long, and now they're beginning to catch back up again to Hartnett. So Hartnett's obviously had a bit of a not so great lap. That car you see coming behind, that is Skidmore. So William Skidmore now, these cars are not going as fast as they could do. They're staying together. Skidmore now beginning to look like he might be able to join the party. He might be able to make it the 5th place, and he might be able to spoil someone's day by unbumping them, if that's such a word. Is this an unbump? I don't know. I think Harry Hatton had an unbump earlier when he was bumped up and then taken away for a technical infringement. So Skidmore, he's the interloper at the back. Oh, come on, Navarro's going, come on, move out a bit further, go on a bit further, he's saying to Tosconi, but Tosconi, no, not doing it. And this is a beautiful illustration of what we're going to see in the higher races. This is a really tough track to overtake on. And that is going to be the story of the main fight, I think. And just the sheer difficulty of getting past people. Oh, a little bit of a tick there on the back of Tosconi from Navarro. Look at that, Skidmore coming right up to them now. William Skidmore joins. That car at the back is William Skidmore. Will he be able to catch him up in the last 3 minutes? Because that's the final bump up place. The bump up to the semi-final of the European Championship is available. Powson and Quad Green are back nose to tail, but it's Powson head of Quad Green. Skidmore must be feeling like he's got his Christmas has come at once, because they're stopping things. So Hatton, Tosconi and Navarro. It's tantalisingly close for William Skidmore. He just can't quite get on terms with them. As again, Navarro tries to get down the track. Now these 4 cars together, second, third, fourth, and fifth. Don't forget Pedro Gomez is 5 seconds up the road from this. This is a trail of 4 cars, 3 of whom are going to the semi-finals. There's 2.5 minutes to go. Skidmore he's on the backup. Just needs the Shark's coming as well. Where's the Shark? That's Gotzel, I think, actually. So Skidmore again drops off them. And the element, so the top half of the track, Williams not as good as this part. He gets much closer here. When we get around the top of the track, the last few corners, not so much. He's on the tail, you see, of Navarro. Hatton and Tosconi, Navarro, Skidmore, W. And then suddenly he's back off them again. By this point, just not as quick, and he's suddenly gone back 6 metres. This is absolutely full on nerves, because any one of them knows half a mistake and they're out. So Skidmore drops to about 0.8 of a second, and then he's right on the tail again. It's just the second half of the track is just not as quick as the first half of the track. But Navarro's finally got past Tosconi, so it's Tosconi now who's first loser as such if he gets taken by Skidmore. At the moment it's Skidmore who's not making it. And immediately Navarro begins to move forward towards Hatton. The blue of Navarro, it's taken many laps to get past, and he's obviously quite chuffed about it. Let's make sure we got Tosconi more info, the third one, because that's going to go one way or the other. Oh, and Skidmore right up the backside of Tosconi, didn't touch him. There he is. So it's all about what that last car can do to the car with the yellow. So the Italian against the Brit. Skidmore kind of driven himself back into contention from the bump up. But every time it's that little sharp corner as he turns, he just loses so much time. Just coming out from the not 180. Less than a second between Quad Green and Powson, by the way. 22 seconds to go. This is probably the. I don't think they're going to get. They might get this lap. I'm not sure. 22 seconds is quite on the edge. It's going to be very, very tight. This could well be the last lap. This could well be Skidmore's last chance. Yeah, they're not going to make it now. They won't go over in 10 seconds. So he's got 3 corners to do it. Otherwise, these 4 are all going to be caught by the timing beam. There they go. And it's just not going to be enough for William Skidmore. But congratulations to Hatton and Navarro and Tosconi. Skidmore misses out by 0.4 of a second. And JQ's career is coming to an end, apparently, because he's going to be beaten by Powson by the tiniest of margins, but that's a margin nonetheless. Just waiting for him to go across the line now. And it's in the end, his career ends by 0.4 of a second. Somehow, I don't think that's going to happen. So, another very exciting race. We now wait for the quarter-final B. So I'm very quiet. Am I very quiet?
I've just given you a little boost.
Give me a little boost, love. I don't want to be quiet. I want to be loud.
Sorry to kind Nugs there, who's wearing headphones, who's just had his eardrums blasted out by your little outburst.
Sorry about that, everyone. So Brett Springer, who's watching whilst we were watching other things, says that what actually happened was that Skidmore flamed out, and then it was unlucky for Savoy to hit him. So that's what happened. So that's a bit unfortunate, isn't it, really? Right. How was the pit walk, says Crunchy Date. It was hot, and it has been done, and it will be seen when we get to the finals programme, which you'll all be seeing quite soon.
Just seen Burrat walk past. He has a squirty spray water bottle combined with a fan. Looks very useful. Could we just get a couple of crowd shots from Zach whilst...
Well, I'll ask him. He's there.
I can see he's moved. He's bringing... Let's have a look at what crowds have we got? Oh, yeah, there we go, look. That's right next to us on the grandstand at the top of the hill. I've noticed as well, if you look directly in front of you, there's people also sat on the hill for the vineyards.
Well, it's a good view, and I think there's some shade, which is the key point, I believe.
Look straight in front of you.
People
Zach.
do like a little bit of shade. That's not light and shade. They like a bit of shade.
Straight in front of you, Zach.
Okay, just to explain once more what's happening now. We have the second quarterfinal B. At that point, we will be coming on. What are you doing, actually?
I think Zach's got a heat stroke. Don't worry, there's people out there. It's fine. We'll cover it later.
Can you not see any people?
Have a sit down.
Have a look.
No, it wasn't there. I was trying to get Zach to show the people sat on the hill.
No, on the hill,
directly
opposite you, where the vineyards are. Yay!
There we go.
Anyway, what's happening is we have the quarterfinal B. Then they come and say practice. What we're going to do is we're going to, at 1 o'clock, we'll probably leave the cameras actually up on stream A with instructions to join stream B at 1 o'clock.
Can't do that.
Why not?
We can have that discussion off air, but it has to be a double switcheroo.
Yes, okay. But then that's not the point I'm making. But not on the streaming point of view.
No, it does. Yeah, it does. Let's have this conversation offline.
Okay, fine. Anyway. So there will be a period of time where we won't actually be on air for a few minutes or some minutes, or how long?
I think during the lunch break.
So we won't actually be on air for a few minutes, and then we'll pick up at 1 o'clock UK Portugal, 2 o'clock CET with the actual finals show.
I think we have about we have about 40 minutes break.
This is going to finish at about 25 past.
25 past.
And then we come back on at 1. So there'll be 35 minutes where there won't be any, well, 33 minutes we're probably going to go, where there won't be any broadcast. There is a link in the RCTV feed for the new final day program link. When we come back on, all the Facebooks will start again, and they will be they have the links embedded as well. They'll obviously continue watching on Facebook as well. So we're going to keep everything relatively linked up, and then we'll start. You'll see it's immediately different because we're going to start in a studio. Actually, do I do it? Oh, I need to check. Am I doing anything before 1:30? Is my question. Yes, I'm doing a VMix call. The finals update.
Correct.
Right. Very excited.
I might have to go and grab a caffeine injection whilst this race is on.
Can you not go when it's finished?
Is this the last race?
Yes.
Oh, fair enough.
In fact, no, actually, because we've got lots of things to do. Just once it started, and then
Give you control.
yes. But we've got, whilst it starts, we've got the 3-minute warm-up. So anyway, who's actually in? I haven't just told you. I've told you what we're doing. I haven't told you what the race is doing. What is the race doing? Well, here we go. So you've got Jordan Lott in pole. That's a weird thing on that thing. Jordan Lott in pole. Andre Trevisan in 2. Theo Lamarie in 3. Hampersberg in 4. Peli Comsi in 5. Martin Valanca in 6. Tom Raban in 7. Elliot Marcon in 8. Brian Baldo in 9, Miguel Matthias in 10, Jerome Michael in 11, Lee Martin in 12. Of course, the 9, 10, 11, 12 bumped up. So this is quarter final B. For some reason, it still says Jessica Powson's in this one, so I might need a refresh.
What's going
She
on?
can't be in twice. She's already broken JQ's heart, so what can you do? Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Who knows? Oh, it's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So hopefully everyone understands what's happening next. So
Lee Martin's got a job on.
hopefully I understand what's happening next, because that's the main one, isn't it, really? I don't know. What's going on? Oh, I don't know.
Tom Robbins not.
Tom Robin hasn't clicked in yet. He's not gone past the... yes, there's a couple of guys haven't just clicked past the timing. Tom has. Our pole sitter is yet to fight, and he has now. They fired the timing screen. So they've all somehow had a bit of a little... So go Matthias, says Jorge Felix. Matthias,
There he is. He's clicked in.
Miguel Matthias, the Portuguese racer. I think I've read 13 or 18. I think 18 national championships. Miguel Matthias, which I feel is just showing off. How many national championships you got, Miguel? 18. Show off. I think you should have no more than 16. That's the most anyone should have.
16 national championships.
Yes.
Blimey.
So let's just wait for a bit of time. There's going to be... Let's have a shifty now. Okay, so they're coming in now. They're coming out now, actually. It's very quick. In and out. Shake it all about. Okay, so Jordan Lott on pole. Andrea Trevisan. Trevisan. Theo Marie, Hampersberg, Peli Comsi, Martin Valanca, Tom Robin, Elliot Marcon, Brian Baldo, Miguel Matthias, Jerome Igon, and Lee Martin are your runners for this one.
5 Frenchmen.
Ah, it is another France. Les Bleus. Les Bleus est dominate le quarterfinal. Sorry, I'm just insulting people who can speak French now. So another, I expect, clean start for the leader. Now, we've had a little bit of a problem before over this next part, but one car's got caught up, but not too badly. I think most have got away okay there, so I don't think we've got any sob stories for the first couple of corners. Jordan Lott leads them, I believe. They go over the difficult 180, and they then swing by over the sharp increase and uphill over the roller section. They're going to get to the top left-hand corner for the first time. Sweep down, a little bit of position changing there. It's 1 from 2, from 3, from 4, from 5, from 10. Wow, great start for the 10 car of Miguel Matthias. The Portuguese is absolutely on fire in his home track, and he's made 4 places in the first lap, and that is experience. And there's no one, I think, probably is a couple, but there's virtually no one more experienced than Miguel here. So Will Miguel be able to keep this up for 20 minutes? And will he be able to force his way into a bump-up slot and get himself in the semi-final, which I'm sure will be pretty much at the top of his expectations when he came to this meeting. So, Jordan Lott from Trevisan. Oh, very upside-down car, revving itself to death. Actually got going again, and then crashed again, and then got going again. So, it dropped up 5 places, whichever it was. So Lot, Trevisan, Le Marie and Hampusberg are where we're going. Not quite sure who did the ridiculous revvy dance in front of us, to be honest. So they come round again. The all-orange car is Andrea Trevisan in second. And you've got the 3 machine of Le Marie and then Berg in sort of green and blue. Obviously more blue actually than green. And behind him, Miguel Matias, who runs a sort of purple, blue and white scheme. Down they all go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a, well, not saying a line, but certainly within each other as we've got through that settling down period. 2.5 minutes in of the 20 minutes. There they come. Miguel slightly being, certainly not gaining. The first 4 are really condensing. So Jordan Lott, Trevisan's easy to see because he's bright orange. But the 3rd and 4th, they're quite close together. Theo Le Marie and Hampusberg. And then the surprise package of Miguel Matias. Stalking them. Lap times are all around the high 34s. Better lap for Jordan Lott having a better lap. Trevisan. So it's France, Mitty from France, from Sweden, from Portugal. And it looks like Matias dropped off a little bit on that one. Yeah, Matias didn't have a great last couple of corners. So Matias has dropped off that top 4. Bouncing away as they are in pairs. Berg looking for an inside line on the switchback. Wasn't really happening. Looking further back, Elliot Marcon runs in 6th. Then it's Martin Volanka back from a few years of retirement for the Austrian. Well, then Lee Martin up to 8th from 12. Euro Maigon up to 9th from 11. And Tom Robben, who's dropped back. Peli Kumsi has also dropped back. And Brian Bowder, who kind of did particularly well in the last, in the 8th, is at the back and not really making any movement. Down the hill they go. Ooh, up the inside, Le Marie looking at Trevisan. Thinking about getting past. Actually, that was only Jordan Lott. That was Jordan Lott and Le Marie. T-Pro replay. Trevisan got past Lott. Lott wasn't very happy about this and decided to have another go with it. Actually, it was nothing to do with that because Trevisan over jumped. That's dropped into at least 4th, possibly lower. Someone's broken down. Not sure which car it is. But Berg had a problem as well during that kerfuffle too, and someone else had a problem. So this, everyone was kind of running quite well for those first 4 or 5 minutes. It's all got a little bit edgy and scrappy, but the 1 and 2 are passed, and then Trevisan goes through in 3rd. Marcon There's Trevisian, and it's now Berg. He's third and fourth now, so it's Marcon and Berg. Matthias. So we lost Lee Martin. So Martin has had, it was the car that flamed. Got another car flaming there. So we lost 2 cars already. Sure, that second car, it might either be Tom Roban, I think. Yes, Tom Roban has also flamed. So, difficult conditions out there, and this is just built for around 20 minutes. So, we're on 45 minutes. Nothing's going to be certain until they cross the line. Oh, Trevisian makes a mistake, a bad landing, and suddenly that puts Berg through nicely to third. Pit stop should be happening soon. So, Hampus Berg on the Marco chassis. Trevisian. There they go. Over the line. Bang. Berg now. There's a second and a half. So further 3 back to Marcon. So I think Marcon's got past Miguel Matias. Both Tom Rowe and Lee Martin are out, so there's only 10 cars on the track. Makes things a little bit easier. Less car density, always more enjoyable. Hampsberg out on his own here in third place. And in he comes for a pit stop. Back out again. Now, luckily he's got nothing else with him, so he can join relatively carefully without having to worry about other traffic. No, so he was actually the last person in, so he was leading for a bit there. So he had 1 lap in the lead. But he is now in third place. So Berg, Lot, Lemarie. So it's Lot ahead now. Lemarie will go across there. There's Berg. So he's got third actually. So he's actually picked up a place during this kerfuffle sort of over the last few laps. Now Trevisian is in fourth. So drop back 1 for our bright orange friend, Andrea Trevisian. So he's running in fourth. Elliot Marcon, who is probably his major rival now for the bumper. That's him there in the background. Drop back 1 more. And there should be Marcon in the blue and the white. I say blue and white. Is it just white? I'm sure there's blue on there somewhere. Yeah, there's a bit of blue. I'll give myself a bit of a pass on that one. It's mostly white. So that's the orange car. That's his target. And then behind him, that's Miguel Matias. So this is 5th and 6th. So Matias made the most of a really good start. Oh, he's going to get past him, so that's a bit of a bonus. So back into 5th place goes Matias. Winner, of course, of those sort of accidents is Trevisian, of course, who ends up gaining time on both of them. And Matias now back into 2nd place. Not 2nd place, sorry, back in, make it go along. Back into, Matias back into 5th place. Still not actually bumping up. Robban's rejoined, but many laps down, or a couple of laps down. Someone's wheel's fallen off, which is quite interesting. Someone has a wheel off, don't know who it is. And the 8 was upside down of Elliot Marcon, mainly because the marshal was rather convinced, why have I got a wheel in my hand? I think Tom Robban's wheel fell off to go with his flame out, I'm not certain. Anyway, back to the story again. Elliot Marcon lost quite a bit of time there because he fell over upside down whilst the marshal was otherwise preoccupied with working out which car had 3 wheels in its wagon. Trevisian you just saw slightly ahead there. And Matthias. And Igon. Marcon and Kalmsey. So Penny Kalmsey came back in 7th. So Lemarie from Berg. Trevisian Matthias is back. He's up into the bump up slots. So that's good news for him. 8 minutes to go. Igon in 5th. It's a good run from Jerome. So we might have a battle of the old men of European Championship in this here between Igon and Matthias. Matthias currently bumping up. So you've got Miguel Matthias, who is the European champion from 2003. And Jerome Igon, his brother won it twice. He doesn't actually won it, Jerome, but he was TQ. He's TQ, I think, in 11 at Sand, I think. Is it Sand? Yeah, I think so. So Igon. Yannick Igon, his brother, won it twice. Jerome won it. Annoyingly didn't win it, I suppose, really. Canas is limping for some reason. Why is Canas limping?
He has a bandage around one foot and is wearing a flip-flop on one foot and limping a lot.
So Juan Carlos Canas will be taking part at some point in one of the races. He's sitting down now. He's just hurt himself. Now, of course, it's semi-practice next. That's why he's come up. So Canas has hurt his foot. He was fine yesterday. So my guess is that done something ridiculous like playing football and they've hurt their foot. This is obviously nothing to do with this race, but it's everything to do with the championship. In that Juan Carlos Canas, we've just seen limping quite badly, has hurt his foot. Now, you think, well, how's that matter? We've got to stand up for 45 minutes for a final. And that is going to be difficult. So Canas has literally hobbled himself. We will obviously try and talk to Juan Carlos on the final show and find out. But that's quite big news. Injury to Juan Carlos Canas, the man on pole for this entire event. Well, TQ for this entire, I keep saying pole, it's TQ. Anyway, Matthias still hopping around in 4th place with 6 minutes to go. One fuel stop left. Lamarie leads from Berg. Berg and Trevision are quite close. Let's move forward to the orange car. It's probably just slightly more interesting. Is he going in the pits? Oh, that's even more interesting. So Trevision goes in the pits. And there he goes out the pits again. So Trevision. The Matthias and Igon thing might pick up again after the final stops, but it was kind of quite static. Just wasn't enjoying it. Martin Valanka joins the retirements, unfortunately. So there's 3 cars. 3 cars not running. Trevision. So Andrea Trevisan in the bump up into the semis. And what obviously happens after this, as you know, is we have a semi-practice. We'll be off air, and then at 1 o'clock we're going to come back with our final show, and at 1:30 we get the first of the semi-finals. At 2 we get the second semi-finals, and then we intersperse other elements of the day, including a junior and a senior final, and a last chance qualifier, of course. Between when the Volderole for the main final starts at about 5. So Walanka's rejoined about 3 laps down. So enjoying the last knockings of his particular European Championship. 5 minutes left. So you want to get some fuel. If you haven't got it, get it now. While you can, Trevisan a little wide there. He's running second. He's got past Lemarie during the pit stop. Henningberg? Hampersberg. I don't know why I have a Blackburn footballer stuck in my mind when I talk about Mr. Berg. But so Hampersberg leads now by about 8 seconds. That is Hampers just ahead of Andrea there. So Hampus is ahead of Andrea. As they bounce about. Oh, Trevisan makes a mistake. T-Pro replay, we'll see it again. Yeah, he just caught that cart tyre. It's happened quite a bit. It's not a major problem unless you you break the front one of the corners of your car, which he didn't, so it's fine. So he continues in second. Le Marie is in third, right behind. That's the car of Le Marie with the white wing. That's the third place man, Theo Le Marie. Now, Jerome Igon has got Matthias through the pit stop strategies, so that's bad news for Matthias, who was bumping up, but he's now not. And Jerome Igon gets closer to the final, being the semi-final. Obviously made a number, must have made, I don't know, 20 semi-finals. Probably the same as Miguel, but not always going to bump up. So Berg leads, Trevisan second, Lamari third, Igon fourth. Used to be a day, and not so long ago, when if you were the TQ for the event, you went straight into the main final. But that's not been happening for a few years. And we have seen TQs have trouble in semi-finals and not qualify through. In fact, only happened in 2018. The TQ was David Ongaro, and he broke an arm early on, finished absolutely dead last in his semi-final. Luckily, by that point, one of the other new ideas, the last chance qualifier, had turned up, and he started dead last, 13th or 12th for the last chance qualifier, and he won it and qualified up and back of the grid. Didn't quite have the pace to get to the front. I think he was second in the end, maybe in third, but it's the race in Flexidas, which Bruno Coelho won. So
Willanka's definitely out now because I've just seen him walk past off the rostrum. He's gone this time.
He'll go back to Austria and yeah, probably had a very nice time. So Trevisan's still there running just behind Hampersburg now. Le Marie's dropped right off. Oh, Matthias is back ahead of Igon again, so that was a very false dawn. Just Igon had a very late pit stop. So it is now Miguel Matthias back into bump up semi-final for Portugal. Elliot Marcon is a couple of seconds off him. We can drop back to 10, can we? There's the 3. So it's La Marie. There's 10 now. That's 10 going down the road now. So that's Matthias. He's got 2 laps to go to bump up. Elliot Marcon 2 seconds behind him. Marcon, of course, was the car that had the very poor bit of marshalling, because the marshal was way more concerned about the extra wheel he had. I've never seen a man so confused by having an extra wheel. Another car's broken down. I think that was the one of Jordan Lott. So Jordan was leading for a while. That's all gone wrong for him. We've seen that quite a lot, actually. We've seen, there's been a lot of attrition. A lot more attrition than you would expect. And it's not been from someone spectacularly smacking it off a barrier. Just the cars have stopped running. I think that's a combination of the temperature and everything else. So, with 10 seconds to go, Miguel Matthias only needs to complete these few corners, and he will bump up to the semi-final of his home event, another of his home events. So Miguel, who did actually say he was retiring after the Frexidas event, which is now 3 years ago, decided not to. And he's now qualified up. So we have Andre Trevisan, who just nipped past Hampersburg, but a lap to go to win the race, but I said it's not that important. It's bump ups that count. Theo Marie is third, and Miguel Matthias picks up the 4th place. And the final bump up, it's Elliot Marcon in 5th, Pele Cumsey in 6th, Brian Baldo in 7th, and that's all the people who finished, because Jerome Igon, Jordan Lott, Martin Valanka, Tom Robin and Lee Martin, none of them finished the race. So, what happens now, I hear you ask?
What happens now?
Well, we are going off air for half an hour, or for 35 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So all the streams you're currently on are going to stop. And in 35 minutes, we will start new streams for our finals show. So if you want to know where the link to the finals show is, it's actually at the bottom of the RC Racing TV YouTube. When we fire up the Facebook streams on both EFRA and RC TV, they'll have that link as well. So you won't lose the link. We're back at 1 o'clock with the show. The semi-finals are off at 1:30. Thank you for being with us this morning. It's been great fun, and thank you to our sponsors.
RCGP loves Great Britain. So much so, on August the 5th, 2022, we're coming home for some British hijinks and all-out nitro buggy racing action.